was third, however. But that's neither here nor there. Should I start with my cocktail first?
Yes, yes. This is called, what do we call it?
This is the red, white, and bourbon. We're just going to get a little ice. We're going to take a healthy dose of bourbon.
Just
We're
a
gonna
splash.
take a little OJ, just a splash of OJ, a little lemon juice, a little lime juice.
You're doing so good.
A little bit of simple syrup. We're going to mix it up. Craig Melvin is a big bourbon guy, too, so you're going to mix that up.
Made you a mocktail, Jenna. Yes.
We're going to mix this. We're going to pour it over some ice.
Red and white.
And then
Yeah.
I'm going to top it with just a little bit of grapefruit soda.
And then the cute star fruit.
I wouldn't do the star fruit, but
Oh, come
for the sake of TV,
It's 4th of July.
there it is.
Yeah.
So what are we cooking?
Okay, so next we're gonna do some hot dogs, and we like to soak our hot dogs in beer.
Yeah.
So first I'm gonna cut like little slits, kind of diagonally in the hot dogs. That's gonna let the beer really soak in, and it's gonna give the hot dogs a nice char when you grill them. So, put them in the beer.
This is something that my mom did when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I've carried it over ever since.
And
Any
it's
beer,
thinking-
darker beer is usually a little bit better, but any beer will
person
do.
makes the best hot dogs, and I swear it's because of that. Now, next we're gonna grill up some toppings, and we're gonna make them in foil, cook them in foil on the grill, so it makes like clean up a breeze.
Yep.
So I've got onions, peppers, over here some mushrooms, bacon, garlic. All you have to do is drizzle with some olive oil
Woo!
and salt and pepper. Hey, where's my red, white, and bourbon?
Yeah, right here.
Salt and pepper, and then I'll show you how to
That's love.
grill this up. Why don't you work on the dogs over there?
This is a dog shot, too, if you want to go
Oh,
ahead
don't
and
do
this.
that. Don't do that. Oh!
I mean, the dog's like cooked, got the beer. Oh, that's
Exactly.
delicious.
So then
How
you're
dare
going
you.
to take the
cocktail's
short
fantastic,
sides
by the way,
and
guys.
fold, and then the long sides and fold. And just make sure you have a little bit of space so that the veggies will vent. Plop that on the grill, like how easy, about 20 minutes.
Johnny, get in here. So this is how the people ask, why do you cut the hot dog? Like, do the juices run out? It's not a burger where you lose the juices. These slits, as Siri said, they create a little bit of that char there. And I swear the beer gives it just a little bit of more of a
They're
ballpark plump
juicier,
feel to
don't
it.
you think?
They get juicier.
My dad used to slice the hot dogs.
one
that
I've
has hot
seen it
dogs.
Yeah,
on
you
the
can.
grill.
It's okay. You like it?
It's a great dog.
How's the
Love a
bourbon
cocktail. This is fantastic.
Good.
Why you been
Here are the
holding back?
toppings. Yeah, exactly. And I like to add like cheese, jalapenos, avocado, whatever you want. But it makes it so easy to clean up afterwards. There you go.
Yeah, it's fun just to
Okay.
put out a bunch of toppings and let everybody kind of
We're
pick whatever
really
they want.
into like burger bars, hot dog bars, baked potato bars, anything
Right.
where guests can assemble
Any sort of
their own
bar,
food.
really. We're into.
Regular bar. Okay, so this is super fun. We're gonna grill popcorn. And we do a lot of like popcorn over the stove at home.
We've never done this.
But this, that is not true. Okay, so we have a pie. And
Never grilled popcorn.
Popcorn. Fight.
It's just, I can't fake the fun, dude. We've never grilled popcorn. I love the idea. How do we do it, Siri?
Disposable pie pan.
Yep.
A little bit of veggie oil, like 3 tablespoons.
Yep.
And then you're just gonna wrap it in foil again. We're all about
This is a foil
cooking.
thing,
We were
okay.
probably
Exactly.
traveling. She was
What's with the s'mores
A
stuff?
little.
Does that
So
go
now
into
we're
popcorn?
gonna turn it into s'mores popcorn
Nice.
because grilled
So
popcorn
good. Wait,
isn't
does
enough.
that really pop on the grill?
Yes. So you just put it on the grill.
No, we've never done it, but
listen
we're
to
hoping it does.
And you want to take these and kind of shake it up a couple times on the grill, but it pops just like it would pop on the stove.
I love the salty and sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
the
then
graham
to make it
crackers, the
s'mores
best part.
popcorn, break up some graham crackers. This
Yep.
is like the easiest thing ever. We have some melted butter.
Wow.
Hershey's.
The butter is key.
We should make this for the kids. They would love
That is
it.
a healthy amount of
would
butter
love
too.
it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have the butter. And then the marshmallows. Like, how fun is that? And a little bit of salt, because again, the salty sweet
Oh, that
is
is-
like
It's good
my
to
favorite
soak
thing.
this in beer too, just a little bit to help pump up the popcorn a little bit. We'll just
Yeah,
toss
there you
this.
go. Toss it. Toss it with your
How does it
beer.
all taste, guys?
It's so
Is that
good.
good? Is that a good
It's
snack?
fantastic.
What are you doing for the 4th of July, Kristen?
4th of July, well, I'm going to be working.
Okay.
But then, watch the fireworks.
You gonna watch fireworks?
Watch the
Grill?
fireworks, for sure. And now I'm going to try and make this popcorn.
Why not?
You guys got I mean, everybody's going
What
to
are
be
you
grilling.
doing, by the way?
And people always trying to overthink the barbecue. Like, what protein am I going to go with? I got to do something fancy. These hot dogs are just great. Burgers.
love the hot
something
dogs.
kind of
Bread and
simple.
hot dogs. It's just the way to
Make
go.
a complex cocktail.
And this is a strong
funky
drink.
popcorn. Yeah.
That's because you
Especially
don't
for
taste
how we
alcohol.
like.
Yeah, fair point.
All right.
Well, happy 4th of July, everybody.
Siri, thank you.
Cheers.
You always,
Thank you.
you always class up the
Thank you for
joint.
experimenting.
Cheers. Cheers. Great to see you.
And if you want these recipes, by all means, come on over to the house. We live on Long Island. Stop.
Chill and grill with us.
Go to the website, today.com/food.
To help us make a Fenway Frank, we are joined by Boston-bred celebrity chef and owner of Buttermilk and Bourbon, Jason Santos. Jason, I've got my kitchen set up, and I'm so excited to cook with you like this.
I feel like I'm at the stadium as we speak.
That's
Not
why
so
I got
much.
my Red Sox gear on. So
That's great. Representing.
absolutely. And we are starting with, I guess, the relish, right, for the hot dog?
A Fenway Frank is like super traditional, old school. Everybody loves them. It's a beef hot dog and a split top bun, some mustard, some onion, and a great pickle relish on top.
Okay, so let's get started on the relish.
All right, so I have a cucumber here. We're gonna cut it in half. So we'll just scoop out the seeds here, and then I'm gonna small dice it. So when you're done, you have this kind of clear little boat, because the seeds get real watery. We don't want to water down the brine that we're gonna make. Okay, small dice. And then to my right here, I have a pot. So it's just some vinegar, some sugar, and some salt. And that's sort of like a basic pickle brine.
Apple cider vinegar.
Yep, apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
Sugar, salt.
Salt.
Ready?
Sugar.
So and then we have celery seed and a little mustard seed. And that's going to sort of give it that flavor that everybody loves. So all we're going to do is we're going to just bring that to a boil. And once that's to a boil, we're just going to add the vegetables to it. So cucumbers we're going to add right to our pot.
Okay.
I have poblano pepper here. So a little different than bell pepper. It's just a touch of heat. It's going to really add that great wow factor to it. And then some red bell pepper. So this comes to a boil. We simmer it 5 minutes, give or take. We just want to take the rawness out. And then once that's done, we just basically will take it off the heat, let it cool down. So once you have your relish, we're going to steam the hot dog. So you steam your bun 30 seconds. You can actually wrap it in a wet paper towel, throw it in the microwave for 10, 15 seconds. You get the same result. Got hot dogs here and steam them. You're going to cook that 5 minutes tops. Again, we just want to warm it through. The most important thing that we're doing here is we're not overthinking anything. It's just a hot dog, and we're just going to make it delicious. We'll just take our hot dog, and we're going to add it right to our bun. Beautiful split top Boston, some ballpark yellow mustard, some diced onion, and then you take that beautiful relish that we already chilled.
Oh, this looks delicious.
It's just a super simple dish, but the fact that we made the relish homemade really helps cut the fat of the hot dog, the spicy mustard, little touch of the onion. It's like sitting in Fenway Park. You sit back, you watch the Boston beat the Yankees, and you just eat a hot dog.
Cheers to that.
It's so good.
It's so good. All right, so the next hot dog you're going to show us sounds so fancy, but you say it's actually pretty simple.
It's super simple. My wife is Vietnamese. We eat tons of banh mi, and they always use some sort of cured pork product or meat. So we're going to swap it with the hot dog, and it's super refreshing. Very simple. Just have like some crusty French bread or baguette. And I like to pull some of the guts out of the bread. It just adds for a little bit more toppings. So we're going to just take some mayonnaise and just kind of smear it all inside.
Okay.
And then we're going to use some soy sauce and some Worcestershire. I'm just going to literally drizzle a little bit in. It kind of catches the mayonnaise. We take our hot dog. I like to personally either grill or griddle my hot dog. Same thing, about 5 minutes. Take our beautiful griddled hot dog.
Awesome.
Right in the bun. And then now we're just going to start putting the toppings. So we have these pickled vegetables that I made earlier. It's daikon, radish, a little bit of carrots, some rice wine vinegar, some sugar.
But you don't
put that vegetable right on top.
Okay.
Okay. Then I have some sliced cucumber. And I like mine spicy. I like that kick. So I'm going to do some fresh sliced jalapenos. And then lastly, some whole sprigs of cilantro. It's going to add some vibrancy. And then you have this amazing like hot dog banh mi with all these different flavors, really unique for summer.
All right, I'm going in. This is not going to look good on camera.
But it tastes good. That heat, that cilantro, it's so good.
I've never had a banh mi before. These are flavors I've never had together. It's amazing. Jason, thank you so much. This is delicious.
You are welcome. Glad to cook with you this morning.
I'm glad to cook with you too. And for this recipe and more, head to today.com/food.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong, elegant, and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers. Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark.
How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? Can you tell us what it was like?
NBC News exclusive.
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
It's summer, so what are we waiting for? Let's get this party started.
And just because the weather is heating up doesn't mean you have to.
We've got some no heat, no cook entertaining ideas from food and lifestyle expert Alejandra Ramos. Hi. How are you? So
excited.
We promised Robin a beverage or two.
Okay, yeah, I
I brought
have a
three.
drink over
I
there.
brought
So
three
yeah.
of them.
Okay, okay, tell us what we have.
All right, so frosé all day. So this is watermelon frosé. So you
Nice.
puree watermelon with frozen watermelon, a little bit of Campari, adds a little
Can I
something
try
special.
one?
I would
Yes,
love for you to
yes.
try one.
Yes,
So that one's super fun. It's really fresh and cool for a
And
summer
can you
party.
do this without the alcohol?
You can absolutely do it with an
it's
alcohol.
good.
You can
Is it
do.
good?
Oh my God, it's so good.
You could do
I'm
like a
jealous.
non-alcoholic drink with that too, so you can enjoy.
Yes.
Then we've got two versions of my mermaid limeade. This one has some coconut rum in it, a little blue curacao. It's very tropical, very fun. And then because I wanted you to be able to party too,
there you go.
we have our virgin mermaid limeade, and this one is made with coconut soda, which is like really like a coconut seltzer.
Oh, wow.
And then it's got limeade, so it's got all the same flavors and just a little bit friendly for everybody. The kids, everyone
That's
can
nice.
enjoy.
I
That's
love
good.
that.
That's really good.
Okay, so now we're moving on to all of these dishes do not need any heat.
No oven,
is that possible?
stove,
Yeah, I
no
don't get-
grill, no microwave, nothing.
That's
Okay.
great.
Yeah. All right, so here's what we do. This is the no-cook menu. We're going to start off with some no-cook couscous.
Which I didn't even think was possible.
I know, I didn't until recently, and now that I know about it, I'm obsessed.
It's changed your
So
life?
the thing about couscous is it's actually, some people think it's a grain, but it's actually a tiny pasta. It's made from semolina.
A pasta?
A tiny
Yeah, I always
pasta.
thought it was a grain,
So
too.
what's in the box is already, it's cooked and dried, so all you have to do is rehydrate it. What we're doing here is we're doing a dressing. So you add the dressing. This has some lemon juice in it. It's got a little bit of olive oil. We add some fun flavors. I've got some lemon. I've got some garlic.
Yeah,
all
those are
sorts of
great.
good stuff. A lot of garlic.
It smells good already.
Yeah,
too.
it
Smells good, and then you can really have fun with all the other fixings. So over here we've got some chickpeas. This makes it a great, like a vegetarian entree.
Yes.
You want to help push
Sure,
all
I'm
those
happy
in.
to.
We've got all this onion, tomatoes,
Cilantro.
some feta cheese. Actually, that's mint. Some feta cheese. So it's got kind of like a Greek salad sort of flavor, but honestly,
Oh,
you
look,
guys
you can see, yeah.
Yeah, see how it's starting to absorb that
Yeah.
dressing? Pop this in the fridge for like an hour or two. It absorbs the dressing. You can even make it the day before, and it's ready. It's good to
That's
go.
amazing.
This is a
This
fun
is what it
summer
looks like.
salad.
How gorgeous is that?
Yes.
Don't you guys have forks over here?
I know. We need some more tasting.
I know.
Well, these you can kind of grab and go. So
Okay.
these are chicken Caesar salad tacos.
May
Well,
I?
Yes, you
please
can.
do.
I didn't have breakfast.
I love when
Yes,
people
go
eat my
ahead.
food. So these, you get that rotisserie chicken from the grocery
Yes.
store, toss it with some greens, your favorite salad dressing. So easy. The taco shell makes it crunchy and perfect for a party. Not messy at all, right?
And this is a roast beef, but
So
it's
these are, so these are my like little, it's like a twist on doing a little skirt steak sandwich. Instead, we're using roast beef. One of my absolute favorite kind of tips at the grocery store. I mean, it's steak, right? It is roasted beef,
Yes.
but you don't have to cook
I
it.
never eat roast beef.
Get it at the deli counter and put a little chimichurri on top. That's
I love
green herb
chimichurri.
sauce.
You do.
So good.
Okay.
Amazing. Now this is great if you've got friends that are keto, low carb, they want something healthy. You take a cucumber.
This is cute.
So simple. You can use a melon baller, or you can just use like a teaspoon. You scoop out the center, and you make a little cup. There we go. Make a little cup with it.
Yes.
And then you can just put whatever you want inside. We did some
Hummus.
guacamole, we
Oh,
did some
nice.
hummus,
Cute.
salsa,
Pretty, too.
anything you want. It's so fun, so easy, really
Now
cool.
let's
Nice.
move down to my
Dessert.
section.
This is for you.
Yes.
This is my favorite part too. So DIY ice cream
These are
sandwich
adorable.
bar.
Oh my God, they're so
so cute.
How fun is this?
Kids would love this, right?
Kids would go crazy for this. Instead of cookies, you could do watermelon with sorbet. You could do like Rice Krispie treats with some kind of delicious thing inside. Banana bread.
Nice.
I mean, just raid the pantry, raid the grocery store, put everything out, let everybody have fun with it.
I'm gonna try these watermelons.
Oh my God, please do. And then you can have fun toppings. So I love these like that little crusty
want
cereal.
all of this.
I know.
I want all of this, right?
I mean, I would love for you to just take this and
Thank you. I'm going to take this for the road. All right, thank you so much, Alejandra, for these ideas and recipes. Head to today.com/food.
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong, elegant, and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers. Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this? Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark. How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? Can you tell us what it was like? With our NBC News exclusive. My name is Lester. Who's
The midterms are here. It's time to plan your vote. We'll provide everything you need to know to successfully cast your ballot. Just select any state you want to learn about for the primary or general election, and you'll instantly get voting rules, see the next big deadline, and learn how to take action for your plan. Voting rules have changed since 2020, and those rules vary from state to state. So it's time to get planning for 2022. Visit NBCnews.com/plan your vote today.
Okay, we are back with Today Food and our good friend, Wolf's mother, Valerie Bertinelli, who always delivers great recipes, and they're chock full of flavor, but we just like having Val on.
Yeah, we do. She always makes us smile. Valerie Bertinelli is, she's also there to help when things aren't going as planned in the kitchen. Take a look at her experience with Hoda on an upcoming episode of Valerie's Home Cooking.
Okay, so now we're going to take our lemon.
Okay, cut it in half.
And then you just juice that right in.
This is awesome. This would be great.
Isn't it great?
For our cocktails.
Now you're going to do the same thing with your limes.
Do the same thing.
So what you want to do is when you put it in the juicer, take your cut side and put your cut side down where the holes are.
Oh, dude.
That's what you do.
No wonder it went everywhere.
Yeah, there you go.
This is amazing. No wonder why it was oozing out everywhere.
Have we ever seen Hoda cook?
No.
I was about to say, you just got Hoda to cook.
Now we know why.
Valerie, you're the perfect
She can
person.
cook.
You're the perfect
She's
person.
a great cook.
How you been,
Good
by
morning.
the way? How you
Morning.
been? How's it going out there?
Very well. I'm very well. I'm a big super rock fan now. I'm the mother of, that's my favorite title.
I love it.
Wolfie's mom. So thank you, Carson.
Yeah, so by the way, while we're on the topic of Wolf, is he going on tour soon, A? And my follow-up question, Val, is the tattoo. Is that new on his wrist? And what do you think of it?
Yes, he just got the tattoo a few days ago. And I'm very excited for him. He's so proud of it. He loves it. A lot of his band members got the same tattoo because they're all staying at his house right now. They're all rehearsing. They're going to be going on the road in 3 weeks.
Ooh.
And of course, I'm going to be at the first show.
It's going to be
Yay.
great.
Front row.
There you go. Handing out pasta salad to
It's
everyone.
the band's emblem, like their logo. It's on his wrist, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. All right, let's talk about
let's eat.
this pasta salad.
You got it. So it's a really easy summer pasta salad. During the last break, I put the broccoli in with the pasta water just so that it would just come to a nice little beautiful color. See how nice and bright green it gets? Yeah, so now we're going to take this out and put it into a big bowl over here. Oh. And you're just going to put it together, and it's so great because it's got no mayo. It's got ginger. I'm going to make the dressing right now. So it's got miso.
Okay.
A little bit of ginger goes in. And then we've got some soy sauce and some lime juice and a little rice wine vinegar over here, some canola oil, and for a nice, bright, strong taste, a little bit of sesame oil, and then some sesame seeds. That's going to help break up the miso and the ginger. And then you just give that a quick, big shaky shake like you're making a cocktail.
Probably gives it a different flavor profile too, you know, when you think of a typical pasta salad.
I like the approach.
Yeah, it does. It's nice. It's fresh. It's refreshing. It's a little bit different. I'm just going to add some veggies in here. So it's a really veggie-heavy pasta salad, which I also like because then I feel like I'm behaving a little bit, or at least getting more vitamins than I normally would.
There are never
and
enough
then
veggies
while
at
the
a
pasta's
barbecue.
hot, no, right? And while the pasta is nice and hot, you're going to get that dressing right on, and that is going to help it melt into everything. And there you go.
Valerie, what kind of pasta did you use there? What kind of pasta is that?
This is cavatappi, which I really love because it's got little grooves on the outside, and it's also got it's little tubes. So all of that flavor from the dressing is going to really cover the whole thing. It's really delicious. I wish I was in studio with you so you could try it. It's one of my favorites.
You serve that warm?
Yes, you can serve it warm, you can serve it cold, you can serve it room temperature. I'm also going to give a little bit more to the sesame seeds. I like a little crunch in there.
Good idea.
And then you can really just top it with some chives for some color.
So
a little bit more
without
onion.
mayonnaise or anything in there, I mean, this is a salad that could really just sort of sit out the whole day, huh?
Yeah, it travels really well if you're going to somebody's cookout. It's just a nice little break from all the ribs and the burgers and the hot dogs that, I don't know about you guys, but we loaded up on that over the weekend.
Tell me
Chili and all that stuff. Yeah.
Same.
Before you leave us this morning, I know you have something else to share. You're coming out with a book. Can you tell us about it?
I am. I'm so nervous about it, though. I mean, it's a very, very personal book. It's about, oh, boy. It all started on your show almost 2 years ago. My journey has taken me from, I just don't want to beat myself up anymore. Yeah. And I know so many women my age, younger, older, that we're so busy beating ourselves up that we just don't find the love and the wonder and the grace that are really within us. So I wrote about the past 2 years, grief, happiness, joy, finding joy, and I hope it touches some people's lives. It was a really challenging write for me, but it was cathartic.
Well, it's
There's
a great
also a lot
title.
of recipes in there because it's for me.
It will definitely touch people's lives for sure.
Enough already. That's
Valerie.
Yeah, enough already with beating ourselves up, right?
Yeah, that's a perfect title for that.
Cheers
Val. We love you. Thanks for pasta salad.
It's a can't-miss summer on today.
They are walking strong.
Elegant and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers. Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told. No. Do you remember any tornado as bad as this one? You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months. Exactly. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Yamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
We have 2 refreshing recipes to beat the heat. So today, nutritionist Joy Bauer is going to make us a simple summer salad and a cold treat for the grown-ups. Joy, we say it every time, wish you were here, but good morning. What have you got today?
Hey guys. So we're starting with a quinoa summer salad, and it has all of those fancy pants elements that we love in a restaurant grade salad, but it's crazy easy. So the dressing goes first. This is extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of lemon juice. I'm adding in red wine vinegar, but really you could do apple cider vinegar or champagne vinegar, any vinegar that you have on hand. You whisk this together.
Okay.
And while I was making the salad, I went ahead and I cooked my quinoa and I let it cool. Now, the quinoa is the star of the show. This is a nutrient-packed seed, and it's got a lot of protein in it. And it cooks up just like rice. 15 minutes to make this quinoa, guys. That's it. You could boil.
You mix farro instead of quinoa, or does it matter?
Harry, I tried it with farro, and it works beautifully. And so the key is you want to start with 1 cup dry, which yields about 3 cups cooked.
Okay.
Next, we add in some chopped tomatoes. I have here, this is an English cucumber that I chopped up because it doesn't have that many seeds, so it works beautifully. And for some creamy crunch, pistachios. And so we mix this together, and you get it all sort of like marinated in that yummy dressing that we made.
Yeah, so fresh.
And then comes our greens. We have arugula, we have basil and mint. And really, you know, Harry, I always tell them, you're the boss of your sauce. You can use any kind of herb that you want. And then
I think I'm going to make that my life mantra.
You're the boss of your sauce.
Once this is all mixed up, the only last thing that you do here is some shaved parm. And it could also be, yes, and it could be feta as well. This is on repeat now. You've got to try it, Janelle. You're going to love this.
So and with all, I feel like herbs are going out of control in people's little garden pots
in
now,
the gardens.
So it's such a good way to use them up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yum.
I love that mint working in there too, right?
Yeah.
That just is a game changer.
Oh, look at that.
Every single bite is packed with nourishing deliciousness.
Right,
This
so
is
what's
really,
for
really
dessert
good.
there, boss?
Oh, boy. Okay. We're going to get the party started. We are making Sangria pops.
Okay.
These are juice. I did.
Yeah, Harry got so
They-
excited that he brought some for us. This is
my favorite color.
They're juicy, they're fruity, and they are gently boozy. And guys, if you could imagine, they're 25 calories a pop. So you could have 2,
This
3,
is only 25
4.
calories?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, this is so good.
It's good.
So I'm adding in 1 cup of wine. I'm using red wine, but really any wine that you have opened works. 1 cup of fruit juice. You mix this up.
What kind of fruit juice is that? Just fruit?
Any 100% fruit juice. I think that it works best if it's either with a grape juice, a cranberry juice, or an apple juice, or any of those blends. But you do want to look for 100% fruit juice without any added sugar.
Okay.
Then this goes into your ice pop molds, and I have all this fruit over here, and you're just going to drop the fruit in. What I like to use are little bitty fruits. So I'll slice purple grapes in half, and I drop those in. And then I also have sliced strawberries and blueberries. And for people that don't have an ice pop mold, you could also make them in little Dixie cups like this, little paper cups. And what you do is you fill up the cup, you add your fruit, you put some tin foil on. I like to stash it in the freezer and let it sort of get semi-solid, and then you take your popsicle. Whoops. Oh my God, look, I'm making a mess over here.
Man, would you like to marry me?
So Joy,
and then,
we're having these.
Let me show you this.
We're all, it's
Oh my
the
God.
rave, right? It is a rave.
First of all, these pop things are amazing too.
Look at that.
Look, awesome.
Cheers,
Look at
Joy.
that. There you go.
Joy, we've got them here.
Cheers, guys.
Amazing.
This is yummy.
It's really good.
Summer treat.
Andrea says the only thing, maybe a little tequila to go with.
Ooh, yes, Andrea.
Hey, that
Thank you,
works.
Andrea.
That works.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you, Joy.
Just ask your kids. They'll tell you no 4th of July menu is complete without dessert.
Or ask me. Today we've got some delicious red, white, and blue ideas and a pop of patriotism for your Hollywood table from Parents Magazine contributor Anna Helm-Baxter. Hi.
Hi, thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So I think every holiday should start with a good drink.
Yes.
So we're going to start with 2 refreshing drinks that are both twists on an Arnold Palmer, which is typically half iced tea and half lemonade. The first one is a slushie. So we've added an extra twist, which is with orange juice. It really rounds everything out. So you're going to freeze ice cubes.
Okay. This is non-alcoholic.
No alcohol in there.
Okay.
And you're going to just throw these ice cubes that you've made with the iced tea, the lemonade, and the orange juice into a blender. And if you want a fun twist, this is pineapple stars.
Oh, that's
put
cool.
out and frozen, a little cocktail stir.
So you freeze the ingredients into different ice trays and then
put it into a blender,
blend them up.
and you got a nice little slushie. Okay, so then this one, I don't know about you, but lemonade is one of those things. The first 2 sips are great, and then it's too sweet, and then your ice melts, it's all holds it down. Okay, so we've done unsweetened iced tea ice cubes.
Okay.
And these go in, and you're going to top it off with lemonade, and that way, when the ice cubes melt, it's just going to cut through the sweetness without watering it down.
It sort of makes an Arnold Palmer eventually once it melts.
Not yet.
Oh, that's smart.
So we're just gonna add
But if you're outside for 5 minutes, it will be.
Right.
Yeah, and then if you want to add a little tip hole to this, Willie, I'll let you do the honors here with a little vodka.
Is that
Goes
vodka?
really great. Yeah, that one's for you.
You know what the Arnold Palmer becomes? A John Daly, they call
There
that.
you go. Is that what
Arnold
it's
Palmer
called?
with a little booze in it. Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay, so I really love to make my guests work a little bit for their treats.
Yes, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a watermelon dessert pizza, which is essentially just a really creative fruit salad, right? That's what it is. I like to use a baby watermelon because I find that it slices easier than the big kahunas. And we're just going to put some cream on the top.
Okay.
And then this is where you get your guests involved.
It's like it's a do-it-yourself.
And you can
DIY.
really go creative with the toppings. Chocolate chips are great here. We've got toasted coconut and berries. Empty out your pantry with all those little extra bits.
Also, that's an easy eat, too. You just grab that little
Totally
slice
easy.
and hit it.
And you know what? You can freeze watermelon too.
Yes.
Freeze
Also
watermelon
very
for a
good.
delicious treat.
I like where you're going
I
with
love
that.
an ice cream sandwich.
Me
Okay.
too. I love an ice cream sandwich. They were always my go-to as a kid.
An ice cream cake is a lot of work. So
Yes.
we're taking a major shortcut here, and we're using ice cream sandwiches.
Okay.
These are layered with whipped cream and a raspberry puree filling. You could totally cut a corner and use
Look
a
at this
frozen whipped
ice cream
topping.
cake.
Yeah.
That's genius.
Oh my gosh.
So, Jenna, I feel like you're sending me good piping vibes here. So do you want to try this?
I don't know. I don't know where that's coming from.
This is a fancy way. You're going to squeeze down there. There you go.
Okay.
And let go.
Oh, that's good.
That's cute.
Nice, Jenna.
And this is just like a fancy little touch.
Look at you.
Yes, I can do
Perfect
that.
Nice
little
touch.
rosettes. Okay.
Oh, this is so great.
So what are you putting the sandwiches on top of?
So this is a cream and raspberry puree.
Oh,
if you want to cut a corner, you could do frozen whipped topping, would also
Okay.
work there.
Yeah.
And then you get these beautiful layered
Oh,
slices.
that's beautiful. Just freeze
And
it up
this
for a
is an
while.
ice cream sandwich cake.
Ice cream sandwich cake.
Okay, I love it. We're going to eat
Yum.
one
Okay.
to go
Okay.
move on to the next.
I don't usually like to mess with a classic, but this one's too good not to share. So this is a s'mores mess. So in the bowl we have whipped cream with Greek yogurt, and then we're going to add all of the toppings that you would put in a classic s'more. So we've got some chocolate chips, mini marshmallows, everything without the campfire, and some graham crackers. This all gets mixed together. I love
Wait,
to add a
this
little
is
chocolate
so
sauce.
cute.
Yep. Fill it into waffle cones, and then again, make your guests add all the extra little
Drizzle the
toppings
hot
on
fudge
top.
over the top?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's so
This
smart.
is really great. And
Cool.
finally, we'll just end
yum.
with these really cute party favors.
These are just stars cut out of Rice Krispie treats. A nice little sparkler without the fire.
Thank you
Brilliant.
so much. These were great ideas and delicious. To get the recipes, go to today.com/food.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. And who's this?
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told. No. Do you remember any tornado as bad as this one? You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months. Exactly. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Yamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Today, contributor Elizabeth Heiskell joins us now from her home kitchen. I'd love to be there.
Hey,
good morning to you.
Hey, how are y'all?
I'm doing great. I have to tell you, when we talk about the State Fair, some of the best memories of my life, the Kansas State Fair. So
have you ever going down that midway and you've got all those incredible trailers with all that fried food, honey? I mean, if it ain't fried, we don't want it when we're at the State Fair. And so that's what we're going to start with today. These are fried apple pie corn dogs. Yes. They could not be simpler. All you do, you literally take an apple pie that's frozen, pre-made. All you do is go pick that up, get all of the outside crust off of it. You don't want that. And now we just have this frozen center. We're going to wrap it in a pastry dough, and you can buy that at the grocery store as well. It comes in just like one of those rolls. And then we're just going to kind of fashion this. It's supposed to look like a corn dog. So you want to kind of go ahead and cut it, mold it, and then we're going in that oil. Wow. So the good news is that when you're frying, you want it to be about 350 degrees. Take a little piece of dough to test it. Put it in. If it starts to bubble and sizzle, you know it's true. It's right where it needs to be. Wow. All right, so here's one that I did a little bit earlier. So now we've got the filling in there. It's been fried. We're going to take one of these skewers, which I've hidden from myself. Okay. There we go. We're going to stick that in the bottom of this. A little bit of powdered sugar. Ooh, you could do some caramel sauce on top of this. Ooh. Absolutely unbelievable. And then look. So I'm going to cut this just so you can see.
Oh, come on.
Hello.
Elizabeth.
Have you ever in your life? I mean, that is the easiest thing in the world. Now, we could not have a fair without a blueberry pie. I mean, the pie contest is so iconic. This one has balsamic that I've already added in here, a little bit of cornstarch, and we've beaten up a few of these blueberries with the back of this wooden spoon. Now we're going to add our cinnamon. We're adding some sugar, just a little. We have vanilla. We also have some honey, which is going to be incredible. So we've got that sort of acidic balsamic. We've got that nice honey, a little bit of salt, and then I'm adding a little bit of black pepper. Really? Oh. And you won't. Yes, it will be that thing that you kind of go, wait, what is that? Like, what is that? You won't be able to put your finger on it, but you will certainly know it's there. Here are the rest of our blueberries. We're going to add that wonderful cornstarch, balsamic honey mixture to it. And then we'll mix it up just a bit. And then this is going to go right into our dough. Now, the recipe, which you'll see at todayshowfood.com, for that pastry dough is super simple. We used a food processor. Okay. So you put all of your ingredients in it, whiz it around. Once it forms a ball, you just put it in the fridge, let it sit for a little bit, and then we're going to roll it out. Look at there. I mean, Can y'all see that? Wow. Look at those blueberries. Wow. I mean, and this is the season. This is the end of the fruit season. We're going to be working into fall apples and all of that pretty soon. So let's go ahead and, really get into it with our berries.
Oh, my goodness.
Because they won't be here long.
Elizabeth, what does your house smell like right now?
Oh, honey, it smells like 4 dogs. No, I'm kidding. It smells... You want the honest answer? No, it smells absolutely incredible. I'm telling you, there's nothing like this. And, I think people are taking time now to do some baking. So seriously, try, something like this. I was really sad. I've always wanted to enter a pie at the state fair, and this was going to be my year. I was going to enter this, and so I know. So I just decided to have the contest by myself.
There you go.
And
Thank
guess
you for
what?
sharing.
Guess what?
Yes.
I won. I won. I judged it. I won.
Congratulations.
Blue ribbon. Yes, I know. Isn't that fantastic?
You're at the dollar store.
Here
That's for me.
I think you took first and second with those two. That's amazing.
Elizabeth,
and honorable mention.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Hotty toddy.
Y'all take care. Woo! There we go, Willie. There we go.
There you go.
Hotty,
To get these recipes, go to today.com/food.
Joy Bauer is here to show us how to sneak superfoods into 3 sweet summer treats. Somehow you did it, and I can't wait to eat it all.
So the first superfood is the raspberry. And I love raspberries because they're one of the highest fiber fruits in town.
I didn't know that.
8 grams of fiber per 1 cup. That's a huge amount. So fiber aids in digestion, it keeps you feeling full, and it also enhances heart health. And interestingly enough, the plant compounds within raspberries also can boost memory.
Really?
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a no-bake dessert pizza.
Look at
this
guys.
beauty.
So pretty.
So all we do is we start with our watermelon. You slice it just like that. You make, you know, four different quarters.
Easy enough.
I'm going to add on a little bit of yogurt.
Nice,
and Dylan,
just Greek yogurt?
Yeah, put on some toasted
just put on
pecans. And of course,
I
dark
went right for
chocolate
the
chips.
chocolate.
It needs some chocolate chips.
Yes.
It's a dessert. And this is some toasted coconut.
Nice.
And so it's so fun. It's really
Awesome.
easy to do. And you could really put on whatever toppings you want. Let's put on a little.
If you have friends over and you present that, how cool is that?
They think you
I
are
know,
so
it's
clever, and it's very simple
now,
and
this looks
delicious.
like my jam. What is this?
So the next superfood is a peach.
Okay.
Peaches are great. They are juicy. They're refreshing. They scream summer, and they're more than 85% water, which means they're super hydrating. They also have plant compounds that have been shown in some small studies to reduce the occurrence of breast cancer.
Really?
Yeah. So we
Really?
have to keep on top of that.
Thank you.
What are we going to make with a peach? We
I
are
hope
going to
a
make
peach cobbler.
a southern peach crumble.
How do you make a healthy peach cobbler?
And I did it.
Crumble.
There's way less sugar. So
Okay,
here,
I'm
I skipped a step, and I'm actually using frozen sliced peaches, and I mix it with some vanilla
That doesn't taste
extract, a
healthy at
little
all.
bit. It is.
Really?
I do add a little bit of maple syrup in here, but not too much, and I think all the other flavors, the peaches are what's shining through.
Right.
This one in the oven for about 30 minutes, and then you have the crumble. The crumble is ground flax seeds.
No way.
And it's
Really?
almond flour and oats, so it's gluten-free, and it's actually vegan as well. And then
Wow.
you just pop this in the oven, and you get
This
a
is-
delicious southern
And the peaches
peach
are
crumble.
so sweet this time of year that you don't
Exactly.
need that extra
And you
sugar.
can use the frozen peaches in the
Really?
winter as well.
This
yes.
is amazing,
delicious.
Joy. Okay, we have one
So
minute left.
this you're gonna love.
Is this a milkshake?
This is all about lime.
Okay.
Lime is great. It's packed with vitamin C, which is wonderful for the complexion. It also helps to increase plant-based iron, which is important because a lot of people are eating vegan meals right now.
Right.
So what do you do when you have a key lime? You make key lime pie milkshake.
Never heard of it. That sounds amazing.
So it with no added sugar.
Right.
So what we have here is almond milk with dates. Dates are going to puree and give it a nice natural sweetness, and we have vanilla extract and some ice cubes.
Okay.
And then we're going to add a little secret ingredient. No, we're not even gonna. We're gonna fake it. You can
Okay.
take this
Oh, we have
off.
to
We're gonna add cauliflower.
Well, I don't know how
We're
to
gonna
take it
add
off.
lime zest
That's
and
cauliflower?
lime juice, and then we're gonna garnish
Why does
it
this
with.
blender have a child lock on it?
I know. Okay,
You
wait.
just put
Here we go.
cauliflower in my smoothie.
Here we got there.
Are we
You're not
ready?
gonna taste it. Taste
Try it.
that thing.
Really?
This is lime juice. Lots of vitamin C. Is that good?
Wow, that's
I
refreshing.
like it.
It's
that's
thick
delicious.
and it's creamy
This
and
woman
it's
just
good
put
for you.
cauliflower in
Wow.
a drink.
I would,
Cheers.
who even thinks of doing that?
I
That's
do.
wonderful. Joy, thank you so much for these
You got
recipes.
it.
Go to today.com/food.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark. How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? Can you tell us what it was like? With our NBC News exclusive. My name is Lester. Who's this?
Welcome back
talk to you today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Yamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
What is a party without ice-cold sweets to cool you off in the sizzling heat? So if throwing a backyard party has been on your bucket list this summer, we've got the ultimate summer dessert.
Oh, we sure do. And here with the lesson on making her famous ice cream sandos and a couple of other sweet treats is Kristen Tomlin, CEO and founder of Cookie Dough Confections. Welcome, girl.
Hi, Kristen. How are you?
Okay, these ice cream sandwiches are going to make you forget about every ice cream sandwich you've ever had.
Okay, wait, first of all, let's start with the cookie dough.
Cookie dough.
We can't eat raw cookie dough, but you've created a raw cookie dough that we can.
Yes, this is totally
It's
safe
genius.
to eat. So we're swapping out the egg in this recipe, and then we're actually using heat-treated flour.
Heat-treated?
Heat-treated flour because it's going to kill any potentially harmful
So
bacteria.
how do you heat treat? What do you do? How do you buy it heat treated?
So we sell it heat treated, ready to go.
Nice.
You can also learn how to heat treat it in my cookbook. 165 degrees is what you want to do it. So you can do it in the microwave or the oven. Make it easy for yourself. Cookie dough first, always #1, and then you're going to add some mini chocolate chips.
Okay. Yes, which is also my nickname.
I love that. Is that true?
No.
She just threw that in there. Okay, so then we spread this baby out.
Exactly. You're going to make it as flat as possible. The key to making sure that you're going to get it out of your pan easily is lining your pan with parchment paper. Dividing this dough into 2 equal portions, one for the top, one for the bottom, and then stick these in the freezer, get them nice and hard before we add on some ice cream.
I mean, we know that this has been sitting out there a little bit because it's melted, but how before do you take this out?
So I would say 15 to 20 minutes. Get it out. You actually want it kind of soft like this because you want it to be able to be spreadable and make an even layer. So it's going to be, it's okay that it's melty. And you can use whatever your favorite flavor is. So we've got vanilla today. My favorite, of course, is cookie dough ice cream. But you could use
cookie
chocolate.
dough on cookie dough. That's brave.
Yes, you're going to spread this out. Use the entire pint.
Here, I'll help you.
Yeah, you can get to work here.
And can you put toppings, like other toppings besides or does it have to be all in the cookie dough?
No, I mean, you can do whatever you want. This is your dessert, your ice cream sandwich, your party.
Get in there.
When
Is there rum in this or bourbon?
You can put some.
Okay.
We might.
Yeah.
Okay. After you have all of these layers ready to go, you're going to put this layer on top.
You're such a good cook.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Wait, you put this on top, so how do you do that?
So you're going to just take it out.
Oh, look at her.
See, because
Can
of
I
the
take it
parchment
out?
paper. Yeah.
Let her do it.
Because of the parchment paper, you're just going to go right on top.
Oh, okay, right on top here?
Yeah.
Michelle, you got
exactly.
it. Michelle, you got it.
I got this.
This
I got
is the hard
this.
part,
You got it.
too.
Yes!
Oh, that's easy.
See? It's easy.
And then what do you do? Pop that back
Pop
in?
that back in the freezer.
Okay, cool.
For a couple hours,
Okay.
and then we're ready to go. You're going to just cut them. Just like this, however big or
But this
small.
could also be a beautiful birthday cake.
I agree.
Absolutely. You don't have to cut them at all. You could just throw some candles on here. You've got your ice cream sandwich.
Oh, yum.
You can add some toppings if you want. Look at how.
Thank
look
you.
at
I'm
that.
going to taste it.
Nice.
Okay, let's move down to these really cool, like, charcuterie boards without the charcuterie. Just
So
the ice
this
cream.
is a dessert treat board. If you're having a party, you have to serve all sorts of fun treats, cookies, cookie dough popsicles, or ice cream sandwiches. You can add some toppings to it. You can have a lot of fun.
That's so
These
smart.
little balls are adorable.
Cookie dough truffles.
And what happens when it starts to melt?
Well, then you just have to eat it. You have
Put
to
it
call
out quickly.
everybody over and say, time to eat.
Awesome. Thank you so much
course.
for these cookie dough recipes and for all of the treats. Go to today.com/food. Our friend Maureen Petrowski is mixing up some summer sips straight off the pages of her new book, Zero Proof. Drinks and more.
Maureen, first of all, it's hot as can be.
Yes. So we need a cool
It's
drink.
4th of July
weekend.
Yeah, we need a cool drink. So we're talking about mocktails, but you can make them as you like, right?
Exactly. You can have a 0-proof drink or you can have a full proof, however you like it. But like Jenna said, not everybody wants a booze-laden drink or a hangover the next day. We've got a nice long weekend, and alcohol-free drinks have never been as delicious or as much fun as we're going to show you today.
Awesome. Well, let's start off with what you're going to show us, something you call the Gunner. Is that right?
Yes, it's called the Gunner cocktail. This is really popular in Hong Kong. It's an expat drink. It's really simple. It's just a few ingredients. We've got here some ginger ale, some ginger beer, some bitters, and some lime juice. Now, I'm using a sweetened lime juice. First, I'm going to put my bitters right in the glass.
Wait, you know
this
what?
This is easy.
Guess
We're
what?
going to build it right in the glass.
We're making it with you.
too.
Is this real ice? Yeah. Oh. Okay,
right,
how much ice do you put in?
So I like to fill the glass with ice.
Fill it
You're going
up
to build
to the
this right
top.
in the glass, and then you're going to just pour in your ingredients. So first, I put my bitters in.
Bitters?
Do you have your bitters?
Hold on.
Yes,
a
ma'am.
couple
How much
dashes.
do you use?
Bitters, the whole thing?
A couple dashes.
No.
A couple of what? Dashes?
A couple of dashes.
A dash.
Yes.
Okay.
Bitters.
One,
Make it.
2, 3.
And then the next thing I'm going to add is the lime juice. So
lime juice.
You can use fresh lime juice. And again, this is also just a dash.
Just a dash.
So a little bit
Don't dump
goes
it.
a long way. And then we're going to add half ginger ale and half ginger beer.
Half ginger ale and half ginger beer.
Half ginger beer.
Now,
And if
Maureen,
you want,
if you wanted
Yes.
to add alcohol, what would you put in this?
So
Beer?
this is, it's got that nice ginger, not beer, no. So ginger beer is actually non-alcoholic. But if you wanted to add alcohol, this goes great with bourbon, a nice sweet bourbon.
Oh, bourbon.
Just think about that.
Okay,
Ginger
now you
and bourbon
mix
is a
it?
great cocktail.
Our
and you
friend,
mix it up and you
here
give it a
said
taste.
beer because I think it's kind of like a shanty. Is that right, Rope? No?
Well, a shandy is a beer that's mixed with fruit usually.
Yeah.
So this is using ginger
We
beer,
know
which is
nothing.
actually just, yeah, ginger beer is ginger ale without the sugar, basically.
is
It's
it?
a little bit more gingery, if you would.
Wow,
What do
I
you
might
think?
have overdone the lime.
Taste mine.
Mine went wrong.
Taste mine. Taste mine.
mine. Something was
Taste
wrong.
Okay. How did Hoda do?
Oh.
I like it.
Hoda's is better than mine.
Yeah, but I like both of them.
Did it get better?
Yeah, it's not
And I
bad.
thought that
This is
I
real
know that you
good. It's
like
refreshing.
Moscow Mule. So if you like a Moscow Mule, this is a gingery, non-alcoholic version kind of that. So
Okay,
That's
and then
really
the-
good.
talk to us about a shrub.
Yeah, what's a shrub?
okay, so this sounds a little bit weird, I know, but a shrub is a building block that can be used for all 0-proof drinks, but also all full-proof cocktails as well. It's basically the foundation, and it sounds strange, but here I've got lemon peels in sugar.
Okay.
And then you add to that some vinegar. I know, vinegar sounds like something you don't want to drink.
No.
But basically what happens is you let this all sit and then you strain out the lemon peels and you add in some freshly squeezed lemon juice and lime juice. And you've got this delicious shrub that you can keep in your refrigerator for up to 6 months. But the beginning of the book starts with shrubs and syrup. So that's the building blocks. I've got a strawberry balsamic shrub. I have a cherry shrub. And then this is a pineapple mint shrub. So basically, this is the beginning of your flavors, and then we can build tons of 0-proof drinks from that. And I'm going to show you a couple more right here.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
spicy watermelon.
This sounds yummy.
So this is perfect for the 4th of July weekend. We've got that red color. In my shaker, I already have some ice. I'm going to add some fresh watermelon juice. And I'm making a bigger batch then. Yes.
What
It's so
else?
delicious, right? It is so hydrating on a hot day. So then I've got here some chipotle. This is a can of chipotles. This adobo sauce is what you want. So we're going to add this
Chipotle?
right in.
Wow.
I know, that's your spice.
That's the spice, but it's real spicy.
That's the spice. It gets that smokiness.
Okay.
Think about pairing this with barbecue. It's going to be delicious. And then this is the lemon lime shrub. So again, I know that vinegar sounds like a strange thing, but vinegar adds the acidity to the drink. And that's what actually makes your mouth water and makes you want to have more of it. So we'll get this nice and filled. You want to give it a good shake.
Okay.
And then since this is a spicy watermelon sip, we're going to put a spicy salt rimmer. So I take my glass and just a fresh lime wedge, and it's spicy. So I'm only going to put it on half of the rim, just like that. That's enough. Now, if you love really spicy, you can go ahead and add the whole
So you
rim.
just pour that in
but
there?
in this case, I'm just going to pour this right in here. That watermelon juice, it's so easy to get watermelon juice. If you don't have a place you can buy it, you simply just use the flesh of the watermelon. Which is nice and chilled now.
Maureen,
And you
this
can
looks
see
so
that.
yummy. I know that there are so many more in your book, which
Yes.
we will tell everyone to get to, but for these
Yes.
recipes and more, and Maureen's book, you can head to today.com/food.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told. No. Do you remember any tornado as bad as this one? You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months. Exactly. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Yamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate
No better time to do a little dining with the dailies.
Yes, this has become one of our favorite segments. Carson and Siri joining us from the home kitchen, the newly renovated home kitchen, it would seem. They're going to be whipping up one of their favorite summer combinations. Good morning. Take it away.
Good morning, guys. Thank you very much.
This is a really simple summer salad. It's actually in my cookbook, and you can really
the book. Good.
Right there. And you can modify it with really anything that you have in your own fridge. So yes, we have some romaine lettuce right here. Also some iceberg, because you guys like iceberg a lot.
Yeah.
You guys meaning you in graphics department.
I like the crunch.
We're going to start with some homemade croutons, which is the easiest thing to do. Just take some day old bread, cut it up or rip it up.
I'm just going to have a little wine. Go ahead.
Save that for the sangria, dude.
I will.
Add some olive oil and salt and pepper, and then just throw it in a 350-degree oven. Just make sure you kind of watch it, because bread can burn very easily. So we will do that. And of course, yep, so there we go.
When we started the quarantine, I don't know how it was for you guys in your house. Dinners were easy and they were big and robust. Breakfast was what it was. Most people are fasting. Lunch became the first couple of weeks, like with the kids, it was pizza, deli sandwiches. It were like kind of full meals. And after a while, I was like, I got to slow down on the lunch thing. So we ended up buying these bags of salad, and we'd kind of pump them up a little bit. We'd add a little protein to it. We'd use a homemade dressing, and they became delicious. So this is sort of inspired by that too.
Yes. So now on to the dressing. This is balsamic vinegar. This is the easiest homemade dressing that you'll ever make, and you'll make it a lot. I like to make it in a mason jar, because then you can store it in your fridge easily. Lemon juice, some mustard. And Carson is going to shred some chicken, because we like a little protein for the salad. You can roast a chicken, also a recipe in my cookbook, or you can buy store-bought rotisserie chickens, which are very easy and convenient.
Graphics, get in here.
So salt and pepper in the salad. And
I don't know if you're seeing this, but this chicken is this series recipe. Literally, it's an hour and a half of a chicken in its own juices, baked off. And then I take 2 forks and I kind of shred this, and this will be the protein that we'll use into the salad. But this is a really simple, delicious chicken recipe. No olive oil needed, like really nothing else but the chicken. So I'll take some of this, pull it apart, and we'll use that for the salad.
Yes.
For the sake of time, I will just do a little bit.
Okay, this olive oil is coming out like a tiny little drizzle. So imagine I put a half cup of olive oil in there. And then for the salad, what I like about salads is texture, color, flavors. So I like to do some cucumbers for like a crunch, tomatoes.
Jack on top.
Yep, bonzo beans. Now here are the homemade croutons. By the magic of television, I have some already done. All right, here we go. I like to add queso fresco, but feta, goat cheese, anything would be
enough
great.
of the salad. Let's get into, this is a white peach sangria. Sangria, like a margarita, very powerful, or pina colada. This is the type of drink that is transformative. It'll take you out of the misery of your own life and put you right into a happy place. So we're going to do that. We're going to take an entire bottle of Pinot Grigio.
Right, yeah, but first add some fruit.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter what order you do it in.
Okay, we just don't want the fruit to get like...
Okay, we got some grapes.
Green grapes, cantaloupe, which you can make into little melon balls if you have time, but I didn't have
time. And then beautiful white peaches. These are lovely, aren't they?
And then, yes, a whole bottle of either Pinot Grigio or
right,
Moscato.
30 seconds.
Okay, and then you're going to add lemon juice, peach nectar, and brandy.
And then I also use a little carbonated soda. This is a What flavor is this? Grapefruit.
Grapefruit.
Any of the fruits.
Yeah, if you can find peach, great, but if not.
All right, we're going to stir this up, guys. Then you got it. I mean, it's a very simple salad using whatever you have in the house. A little sangria. Look at that. Graphics, you got that? Not lovely in there, buddy?
You're not allowed to drink that graphic, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's not good. All right, I'll pour these off, guys.
Ooh, I'll have this one that has the little wine topper.
Carson, Siri, thank you. Jack Daly, thank you as well. I love to see Jack's Battlefield promotion as well, from graphics to camera operation.
What can't Jack Daly do?
Yo, today, all day. Pucker up, because up next on Hashtag Cooking, it's all about lemons. Samadada making her favorite recipes with the versatile citrus fruit. Instead of turning lemons into lemonade, try making Sama's pasta salad with a rich and creamy lemon tahini sauce. Then for dessert, whipping up a lovely lemon loaf cake. Check it out.
I love the smell of lemons too. It's so fresh. I feel like I'm at a spa. But I'm making a cake instead, which is better for sure. So, everyone has been telling you to make lemonade out of the lemons that life has apparently given you. But you know what? You don't have to listen to those people. I'm sure they have good intentions, but they don't really know how to hashtag live, laugh, lemons. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to show you how to make two of my favorite recipes that use lemons, my lemon tahini pasta salad, which is zesty and bright, paired with some zucchini and tomatoes, and my gorgeous lemon loaf cake, which is fluffy and just lightly sweet, the perfect companion to your coffee or tea. Some things I think about. Are we calling a pasta salad a salad just so we can feel better about the fact that we're really just eating chilled pasta? Whatever the case, I'm on board, especially with this lemon tahini pasta salad. It pairs two of my favorite things together, tahini and lemon, for a fresh and light pasta that I guess we can call a salad. I'm using shallots, garlic, some tomatoes for sweetness, and a zucchini in here to make it a lot more flavorful and complex. I'm gonna start by just preparing all of my ingredients because I love being prepared and I love having my cooking process go a bit quicker. So we're gonna start with the shallot. I'm just gonna dice my shallot. If you don't have a shallot on hand, don't stress, don't worry, you can use a red onion. I'm just gonna slice this little end off right here. I'm gonna make little parallel cuts into the shallot. Watch your fingers, you need those. And then I'm gonna make perpendicular cuts right on top of the shallot, keeping this end intact so we can hold on to it. And then I'm just gonna dice. Gonna add my shallots back into their bowl, into their little home until I'm ready to use them. Probably doing this the dangerous way, but I'm living on the edge. All right, so I'm gonna mince some garlic. A really easy way to do this, you're gonna put your garlic on your cutting board, use the flat edge of your knife, smash it, and then we're just gonna mince. Yes, I am using a lot of garlic, and you're probably wondering, wow, Salma, that's a lot of garlic. Why are you using so much garlic? I love garlic. The residual outcome is sometimes like you end up smelling like garlic a little bit for the rest of the day, but it's a price we can pay for a flavorful pasta, you know? And now we're going back into my bowl, back into my home, my garlic home. Garlic like ends up being a bit of my perfume. I cook with it for a bit. I promise I still have friends. Still love me. Even though I have some residual garlic scent. Now I'm just gonna slice my tomatoes in half. I'm using grape tomatoes here, but you can go ahead and use cherry if that's what you have on hand. The tomatoes are gonna add a nice pop of sweetness to this pasta, which uses tahini. It's a very earthy flavor, so we like having that balance. You can totally slice these tomatoes lengthwise, but I'm just gonna do them sort of like a globe because I think it looks prettier. It looks nice. Looks pretty. Okay, adding these back into my tomato home. All right, now I'm gonna cut my zucchini, trimming the ends off. You could also slice it lengthwise and then half it, but I like to do the full rounds here. I'm cutting the zucchini pretty thin because I want it to cook through pretty quickly and get nice and tender. I wanted to add zucchini to this recipe because zucchini is such a neutral tasting veggie. Like, it really absorbs a lot of the flavor of anything that it's kind of cooked with. So that's why this was the lucky pick for my vegetable addition in this pasta. My zucchini, tomatoes, shallot, garlic, everyone is ready. Now I'm just gonna heat some olive oil on my pan and start cooking the shallot. Once the oil shimmers, I'm gonna add my shallot. So my olive oil is ready, and now I'm just gonna add my shallot. I want to cook the shallots for about 5 minutes until they get nice and tender and translucent and start to brown around the edges. You want it to smell really fragrant and aromatic. It smells so good. You'll notice that it's already starting to get some nice color. That's what we want. I wouldn't mind like smelling like a shallot, but somehow it's always garlic. Like, how did I get this fate? So I think what we figured out here is that I'm starting a perfume line. Eau de shallot, eau de garlic. All right, this is exactly what I'm looking for. It's starting to brown, it looks tender, it smells amazing. Now it's time for the garlic. We're going in. The reason we didn't add the garlic in with the shallots together is because garlic doesn't take that long to cook, so we didn't want the garlic to burn. That would be a problem. We want the garlic to cook in with the shallots for about 1 to 2 minutes, not too long, and then we'll be good to go. And don't forget to season with some salt and pepper. A little salt, some pepper. I'm gonna go ahead and add my zucchini. I want to stir the zucchini in with the shallot and garlic so everybody becomes friendly, everything is nice and incorporated. In case anything starts to burn, you can feel free to add a splash or two of water. I'm gonna add just a little splash of water. You'll notice when the zucchini gets a little bit more tender, it looks a little bit more flexible, a little more bendy. That's good, that's where we want it. These are looking nice and tender and translucent, and now it's time for the tomatoes. I don't want to cook the zucchini too much longer because they're going to cook with the tomatoes as well, so we don't want anything to burn. I'm going to add my tomatoes. Look how pretty! We want to cook the tomatoes to soften them, to release their juices, but we don't want to overcook them. I want them to maintain their shape, and if you cook them for too long, they'll break down. We're looking pretty good. The zucchini is really finding its moment. All right. My zucchini is tender, my tomatoes are juicy, these are done. I'm gonna set them aside to cool, and then I'm gonna work on my pasta.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves.
You can actually see they're pushing the gates open.
Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No, do you remember any tornado as bad as this one?
You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months.
Exactly.
Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
Now we're gonna cook our pasta. One very important step. Don't forget to salt your pasta water, or I will come find you. Okay. Make sure you cook your pasta according to the instructions on your package. And add my pasta in. While the pasta is cooking, I'm gonna make my sauce. This is a lemon tahini pasta salad, so the base of the sauce is going to be, you guessed it, lemons and tahini. I've got my tahini in this bowl. It's a very earthy flavor, so it's gonna pair super nicely with that bright and tangy acidic lemon. I'm gonna add my lemon juice. A good tip to get all of the juice out of your lemon and to loosen it up a bit is just to roll it before you juice. I'm gonna slice my lemon. It's fresh. Now, I'm gonna juice it straight into my tahini. I am nothing without seasoning, and neither is this pasta, so we're gonna add some of my favorites. Got some cumin here. Red pepper flakes for a little bit of spice. Some salt. Then a little bit of freshly ground black pepper. I'm gonna whisk this up. You'll notice that the mixture will start to seize, meaning it's gonna be a bit tougher to mix it, which is why we have a little H2O to save the day. You wanna make sure your water is cold, and we'll just add a little bit at a time until it reaches your desired consistency. See how when you add that cold water, it becomes so much smoother and also helps you get everything well incorporated. You want it to be velvety and rich and smooth. Just gonna season it to taste because that's always important. We wanna get it exactly where we want it. Taste a little. So good. Add a little more salt and a little more pepper. My sauce is done. And you know what's crazy? I finished making it before the pasta was even done cooking. I mean, let's talk about saving time in the kitchen. I'm gonna check my pasta. We're gonna be a bit of a helicopter pasta parent. Go fish for one. I can't even see, I'm too short. And you want it to be al dente, meaning you still want a bit of a bite in it. You can bite it or just break into it with your finger to see. Still needs a little bit more time. I'm gonna leave it in there for a little bit longer until it's a bit more cooked through. My pasta is done. Now before I drain it, I'm gonna save a little bit of that pasta water for later. This is gonna help bind and thicken my sauce in case I need it. I've sort of been waiting for this moment my whole life. It is time to assemble the pasta. Got my zucchini and tomatoes here. Just gonna add my pasta straight into my pan. Look at that. And just mix this around just to incorporate the pasta in with the veggies. I want to make sure that garlicky goodness and the shallots really coat that pasta well. A rogue pasta, no problem. And now it's time to add my sauce. I mean, look how creamy that is. It's like velvety smooth. See you later. Okay. I'm just gonna coat the sauce in with the pasta really well. We don't want any piece of pasta to feel lonely. It needs to have some sauce on it. This looks good. This looks well incorporated. This looks like everyone has become besties. It's time to plate. So I know this is supposed to be pasta salad, but a little fun fact, you can eat this room temp as well. So I'm gonna serve myself a bowl. I can't not eat it right now. And I'm gonna let the rest chill in the fridge. Gotta get that zucchini, those tomatoes. It looks so creamy, but there's no dairy in it. Is that crazy? This looks good for me. I'm gonna squeeze a little lemon on top, just for a little hint of tartness. A little extra. I mean, she looks cute, for sure. Time to take a picture. What's nice is that you've got so many colors going on. You've got the bright pop of red from the tomatoes. You've got the green from the zucchini. The pasta's like a nice canvas for all of it to sit on top of. Looks delish. Getting really up close and personal here. I don't think the pasta will mind. Okay, I got the shot, which means I need to eat. Okay, I'm going in. Gotta get a little bit of everything. Little tomato, little pasta. I'm gonna try and do this in a dainty manner. It's probably not gonna work. Okay. I mean, usually think of pasta as something that's pretty heavy, but you've got this brightness from the lemon that allows it to feel super light and refreshing. Tomatoes for sweetness, the zucchini for a little veg moment up in there. This is gonna go in the fridge. I'm gonna transfer it to a bowl, let it chill. Keeps really well in the fridge. It's also really nice to know you've got a little meal waiting for you in the fridge whenever you're hungry or just simply want a delicious pasta salad. Transferred everything to my bowl. I'm just gonna cover it. Now I'm gonna take it to the fridge to chill, and then when I come back, we're gonna make my lemon loaf cake.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves.
They're pushing the gates open.
Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top story with Tom Yamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this? Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark.
How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur?
Can you tell us what it was like? With our NBC News exclusive. My name is Lester. Who's this?
welcome back to you today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
This lemon loaf cake is inspired by my parents' citrus trees in California. My dad tends to our lemon trees because he's the only one in my family with a green thumb, or at least he tries to have one. So I wanted to make a really delicious post-breakfast sweet treat for us to enjoy together. I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees, and I've also lined my little loaf pan with some parchment paper. I did this with cute little flaps so that you'll easily be able to lift the lemon loaf cake up after it's done baking. Now I'm going to get started on my dry ingredients. I'm using some oat flour and some coconut flour. I really like this because oat flour is nice and hearty and coconut flour is light and absorbent, so they make a really nice pair. I'm just going to add my coconut flour to my oat flour. I'm going to add baking powder. I'm going to whisk everything together. Oat flour and coconut flour are both gluten-free, so if you're into that, that's great. If you're not, I promise you'll still love this recipe. But make sure you do check your oat flour package to ensure you're using the gluten-free variety. We want to whisk this until everything is nicely incorporated. Everything looks nice and incorporated, and now I'm going to start on my wet ingredients. I'm going to crack 2 eggs into my bowl. I'm going to beat my eggs until they're nice and smooth. All right, this looks nice and smooth. And now I'm going to work on my lemons. Our star, the lemon. First, I'm going to zest the lemon into my eggs. What's really great with zest is that it adds this nice fragrance and aroma and adds a lot more of that lemon flavor, which we love for this recipe. The lemon zest smells so fragrant and delicious. It's really gonna amp up that lemon flavor in this lemon loaf cake. I only need about a teaspoon of lemon zest for this recipe, so that should be good. Now time for our juice. Gonna roll the lemon a bit to get more of that juice out. It's really prepped for this lemon loaf cake. I love the smell of lemons too. It's so fresh. I feel like I'm at a spa. But I'm making a cake instead, which is better for sure. Okay, my lemons are all juiced, and now I'm gonna add it straight into my egg and zest situation. Mix this up until it's nice and incorporated. Now I'm going to add my melted and cooled coconut oil. Mix that up. To sweeten this recipe up, I'm going to add some maple syrup. I like using maple syrup here because lemon is so tart and acidic, and maple is warming and really just delicious and golden, so I find that it's a perfect match made in citrus heaven. A little vanilla extract. Little splash zone for the vanilla extract, no big deal. And finally, we're gonna add some coconut sugar. The coconut sugar sweetens this up even more, which we love for this lemon loaf cake recipe. I'm gonna just add my dry ingredients straight into my wet. Now I'm gonna fold everything together. You just wanna fold everything in together really gently so everything becomes nice and incorporated. You will know when it's done when the batter is thick and sticky. We're looking pretty cute, to be honest with you. Just gonna transfer this batter into my prepared loaf pan. We're just gonna smooth the batter out in the pan, make sure it's evenly distributed. And because we're a fun kitchen here, we're gonna add a little more coconut sugar on top. Just for a little extra sweetness. You don't have to do this. You should do it. Okay, sad news. We do have to allow this loaf cake to leave us for a little bit. It's gonna take a little journey in the oven for 30 to 35 minutes until the edges are nice and golden brown.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong, elegant, and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers. Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
The midterms are here. It's time to plan your vote. We'll provide everything you need to know to successfully cast your ballot. Just select any state you want to learn about for the primary or general election, and you'll instantly get voting rules, see the next big deadline, and learn how to take action for your plan. Voting rules have changed since 2020, and those rules vary from state to state. So it's time to get planning for 2022. Visit NBCnews.com/plan your vote today.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
This is cooled for about 20 minutes, and because I love being prepared, as you know, got these cute little flaps, which will allow me to just lift it straight up out of the pan and get to slicing, which I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna slice right into it. I am one of those people that loves a corner piece. Give me all of the corner pieces, all of the edges. That's my jam. I mean, you can't resist. I know you can't. Don't tell me you can, because I know you're not telling the truth. It's pretty. Get a couple slices on my plate. No, I need a third for sure. I need a third. Okay. You can totally enjoy this solo, but I'm just gonna top it with a few berries, just for a little extra sweetness. Goes nicely with the lemons too. I mean, I think it's ready for its close-up. The berries add that nice pop of color as well. Got a blackberry out of place, excuse me. So pretty. I cannot wait to eat this. All I really need is a cup of coffee with this. That would really pair well. JP! Make my day, why don't you? I'm ready. Now I'm ready to eat this. Okay, I'm gonna get a little piece of the cake, a little berry. That is good. It's a lightly sweet. Goes perfectly with the berries. The lemon adds that nice zing, that tartness. Maple is like that golden, warming, delicious taste. Don't let your coffee live without this. Whew. Hey guys, super busy, cooking up a storm, but I have something exciting to tell you. #cooking is back, so tune into Today All Day. Okay, I got some in the oven, I gotta go. See you later.
Hello and welcome to Wellness Today. I'm Chanel Jones. We've made it to July and summer is here in full swing. This year I've been trying to live what I call self-care summer. Making time for daily quick walks, maybe my annual checkups, also I can be the best version of myself. Summer is also the perfect time to tap into play and have a little fun. It's also the season to eat more fruits and vegetables, and why not take a staycation while trying outdoor activities like kayaking? So join me as we make our own well-being a priority and celebrate self-care summer. While many of us think of self-care as a time spent resting and relaxing, it's also important to experience all the fun that life can offer. But how can play impact our health for the better? Take a look. From kicking a soccer ball to playing a game on your phone, fun is a feeling that many crave.
Play really is a basic human need.
For Dr. Edward Laskowski, play has been at the center of much of his work.
We all need a release from the stress that we're under. We need our minds to be free, to be innovative, and to be creative.
Play traces its roots to humans' closest friends.
It's interesting, in the animal kingdom, we see play commonly exhibited in the ape family, how the young ones are, in essence, almost taught through play different maneuvers. I think in humans, oftentimes we think of play as reserved only for kids, but those unique advantages of play also extend to adults.
Play can come in a number of forms.
There are 3 types of play. There's social play, where we play with each other, and this could be playing games, but it may be also exercising with friends and doing stuff together. There's also benefits of independent play, which means we may do something by ourselves. We may love to do a Sudoku or a puzzle or a Wordle today. And guided play is something that maybe we'll be instructed in a new activity. Maybe we'll get cooking together and go make pasta or something like that.
The impact of play, tangible and meaningful at any age.
It actually changes, it produces muscle relaxation. It can increase blood flow when it's combined with movement. Those are all good physical things that it does. And psychologically, it does a huge benefit as far as reducing stress, reducing anxiety, modifying the effects of depression, and those who have frequent play incorporate into their lifestyle.
Proving that taking time for fun can be of immense value.
When we step back, when we're given a chance to let our minds run free and play and figure out things in a different way than a job way, that all helps our whole state of being.
Now that we've seen the science behind why play is important, let's break down how we can have a little fun. We're excited to welcome someone who knows how to have a good time. Annie F. Downs is an author, speaker, and podcast host who is the founder of the That Sounds Fun network, where she celebrates the idea of fun and helps people find it themselves every single day. Welcome to you, Annie.
Oh, hi, Chanel. Happy self-care summer.
Happy self-care summer. It's funny because I made it up literally in the doctor's office and it's become a thing. All right, so this sounds even silly to ask, but what does it mean, when we talk about having fun and play?
It isn't silly to ask because kids get it, but adults have forgotten, right? Like we just don't prioritize play and fun anymore, but we feel it in our bodies. I mean, it is part of self-care. What's true about you and I both, Chanel, is we put everything in our lives and make time for what makes us healthy, and fun is part of that.
I believe it. So if you're not feeling your best, I mean, everybody knows how to have fun if you're in a good mood and you're going to a party. Talk about some things that we can do, to find it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the challenge of holding both the joy and suffering of life and telling yourself the truth. If things are hard, that is okay, but can you also find a little fun in your day? You can do it alone. There's a lot of ways that you can have fun with what matters most to you, with your partner, with your friends, with kids in your life, with your community. I mean, there is fun really everywhere, as long as you don't think fun has to be big and expensive. If you can remember, fun can be small and quiet. Sometimes, not all the time. I'm not very often quiet, but it can be short. It can be inexpensive. It is really available to you to help you feel healthy.
I know, I was just reading that, it's important to be able to have fun by yourself. Can you give me some ideas about that?
It can end up feeling a little selfish to some people, but the reality is it makes you who you want to be. And if we work so hard, I love this quote. Someone says, if we work so hard with our minds, we need to rest and have fun with our hands. And if we work every day with our hands, we need to be resting with our minds. So because I write books and I'm like you, I talk all day long. One of my favorite hobbies, I brought it to show you, Chanel. I cross stitch. I did the entire sky. I'm very proud of myself. But
I
it
love
just gives
that.
thing to do. And thank you. I'm very proud. It gives your hands something to do. So it can be gardening or cooking or playing a sport or working outside, just running around, doing things like cross stitch or knitting, things that are small and in your home you can do by yourself that'll just bring you joy and get you off your phone. Scrolling is not a hobby, Chanel. We know that, right? Scrolling's not a hobby.
That's a t-shirt. Scrolling is not a hobby.
Right.
Let's talk about having fun with a partner when we get that special one-on-one time together. What do you recommend?
Yeah, I have often found for myself and for my friends that when you are with your partner, if you will just ask them, what sounds fun to you? I know that sounds really simple, Chanel, but if you say, what sounds fun to you? And then you ask them why 3 times, by the time you get that third why, they're actually telling you something about self-care and about their heart and about their childhood. And so you can kind of say, man, I didn't know that was important to you when you were little, or I didn't know that mattered so much to you. You said you wanted to play basketball, but what I'm hearing you say is that was a hobby you and your dad did together and you really missed your dad. In every city we live in, there's things we haven't explored, right? So keep it local, keep it interesting. Look online and look and see what restaurants everybody else is eating at that you haven't tried yet. And kind of being an adventurer in your own life is so fun.
It's like marriage therapy through fun. Let's talk about friendships. Even for me especially, a lot of us have younger ones, and so we're so busy by the time we do work and try to connect with our spouses and try to connect with our children. Our friends sometimes fall by the wayside. So what's your advice for how to stay in touch and build in fun with your friends?
This is going to sound way too easy, but the reality is you just put it on your calendar. And then the fun thing is what ends up happening when you put it on your calendar and you get in a group text, all of a sudden you're going, what are we going to do? Well, what sounds fun to you? And all of a sudden this actual deep conversation happens among friends and you go, I didn't know that mattered to you. Yes, we will do that. And by the time that thing on the calendar gets here, you know your people better and you're getting to have fun together.
And I think you're right. I've even noticed with my friendships, just through planning something far off, it's just the day-to-day thread sometimes where you can stay connected,
Yes, and it just makes you feel more like you. It does for me at least. And that's what we're doing. If we're looking at fun as part of self-care, we're going, how can I be more like me and a healthier version of me after this summer? And one of the ways is more connection, and fun breeds connection.
I love it. All right, so finally, let's talk about ideas for your kids and how they can have fun. Sometimes it can feel like another job, but you've got 3 things here. You've got a soccer ball, a Frisbee, and I'm not sure what this is. It's a towel?
It's a blanket.
A blanket?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a picnic. It looks like a picnic blanket.
Yes, that's exactly right. I'm telling you, those are the 3 things I keep in my car all the time. I brought it here with me. I keep those in my trunk all the time because anytime I'm with kids, I'm not married yet, don't have kids yet, but they are all over my life. And if I'm with kids and suddenly they wish we could throw a Frisbee, I want to be ready. And so when it comes to kids,
that's so good.
So fun. If you will let them lead, if you ask them what sounds fun to you and they say, I would love to go jump in a creek, and you go, all right, we'll figure it out. It may be messy, but if you will let them lead, kids are going to take you to fun almost every time.
I love it. Sometimes adults, we just need to let go a little bit. Good advice. Thank you, Annie. Annie's book, Chase the Fun, 100 Days to Discover Fun Right Where You Are, released August the 2nd. Thank you, Annie. It was nice to talk to you today.
You too. Go out and have some fun while you have self-care.
Cheers to that. All right, coming up, a nutritionist shares tips to eat more fruits and vegetables, and later, a quick upper body workout that will help you find your confidence this season. All that and more just ahead on Wellness Today.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
It's a can't miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong.
Elegant and pretty easy to prepare. How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers. Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate
it. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back. The most recent American dietary guidelines suggest that healthy eating includes consuming a variety of fruits and vegetables, as we all know. So with summer in full swing, a lot of popular produce is in peak season across the country. So if you're hoping to take advantage of this and increase your fruit and vegetable intake, we have registered dietitian Vanessa Rossetto. She is here with some tips and some yummy recipes to make it easier, something you can try today when you get home or if you are at home. Hello.
Hi, nice to see you.
So I think most people know we should be eating fruits and vegetables, yada, yada, yada. But can you give us really quickly just a real, I guess, a better understanding of the benefits, what we underestimate?
Yeah, you know, fruits and vegetables have antioxidants, they have vitamins, they have minerals, they help with your gut health. You know, there's a lot of fiber in fruits and vegetables, so that helps to keep you full. So if you're looking for a lot of bang for your buck when you're eating a meal, you always want to pair it with a fruit or a vegetable. Right. I think people think it's all or nothing. Like, I have to eat only plants in order for me to be healthy, and that's not entirely true. It's just like, let's look for ways to incorporate it at most meals. So it's really easy to get them in at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you don't have to roast, you know, broccoli and, you know, turn your oven on. You could just like simply slice up carrots like I do with my kids, and so they're not going to eat roasted, you know, slaw or anything like that, but they'll grab the carrots and put it on the side of their protein, and that's the vegetable that they're eating for the day.
All right, so with that said, let's dig in. The beautiful part to me about this season, you get to try fruits and vegetables or things that are in season that maybe you normally wouldn't try.
Yep.
So what should we start with? This looks yummy.
Yes, it's grilled romaine.
Grilled romaine. Okay.
Yeah, I work with some really great people who've taught me this trick, which is take the romaine, put it on the grill.
The whole thing?
The whole thing, a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, lemon juice, and it's just a fun way to eat lettuce. Like, the lettuce doesn't have to be dry. You don't have to put rice wine vinegar on it, and that's it. You're not relegated to misery just because you're eating a green.
There's nothing else on there? That's really good.
No, there's nothing else on there. Parmesan cheese, shaved Parmesan will take things to another place.
So wait, you take the what's on there again?
So when you're grilling the romaine, it's just olive oil. Finish it off with some lemon juice. Then when you're making your meal, right, here's some rice. I got some chickpeas for some extra protein, and then some shaved Parmesan on top. It just like gives it a different flavor profile, and it makes you want to eat it. It's not dull and dry.
You know, it's a healthier choice, but it's legitimately yummy. Yeah. So you don't feel like you're depriving yourself.
Exactly.
That's good. All right, so next, what's this next one? You want to do this one?
The frittata. Yeah, so the frittata is the go-to on a Friday because the kids are always like at the pool, at camp, they're eating pizza and all these things, so it's not like they're not enjoying their summer. Sure. But you know, you go out and you buy these vegetables because they're in season, and you're like, oh, I'm going to try something new, and then the week goes by and you didn't use it.
It's true.
So it's really easy to just crack 12 eggs, put that in a bowl, whisk it up, get whatever the spinach or the broccoli that might be turning and isn't going to be good the next day, and just bake it in the oven really quick. And then I'll chop up any kind of, you know, onion and broccoli and maybe some zoodles and bell peppers and a little bit of balsamic vinegar. and we have dinner that night, and we probably have breakfast the next
You can
morning.
save it.
Yeah.
It goes well in the fridge.
Yeah.
Wasted so many vegetables.
Yeah.
Just forget that they're there.
Yeah, you and everybody else, and or they just don't know what to do with them, right? So a lot of times I tell people, don't be afraid to buy frozen vegetables or frozen fruit. It really minimizes waste. They're allowed to ripen to the peak, and then it's minimal processing, flash frozen. So then you just take what you need when you need it. You can, store it for the next time, and it doesn't go bad right away.
This is good. All right, so this one, we should put the recipe on the website. What is this?
So this is just a bunch of vegetables that, are always turning in my refrigerator. Because, it's like, I'm going to buy these 6 red bell peppers, and then I'm going to make my husband go down and grill them. And then that never happened.
What's in there?
Yeah, so it is red onions, because red onions takes everything to another place that I love so much. Different types of peppers, right? Some zucchini, you shave them really thin, some balsamic vinegar, a little olive oil, done. It doesn't.
Is there like goat cheese or something in
The
it?
goat cheese is on the.
Oh, that's why I was like, what is this? Because it all works together.
It all works together. But that's the thing. You don't have to make it complicated. You have these things already in your house. So just chop and serve.
Vanessa, that's really good.
Good.
Okay, last but not least, a lot of us like to throw kebabs on the grill.
Yeah, so what I will do is, because I love pineapple, I'm still thinking about the pineapple that I had in Maui in 2006 on my honeymoon. And so I will get a pineapple, chop it up, I'll make the kebabs. Grilling pineapple brings out like a different kind of sweetness. And also the same when you're doing red onion or eggplant or tomatoes, it brings this sweetness to it that's really fun. And so you'll have that, and maybe you're gonna have it as an appetizer, and I'll put out nuts, my favorite pistachios that are salt and vinegar pistachios. Try them, they're delicious. It gives a different flavor profile. Sometimes I will, grill up some chicken, and then maybe tomorrow I'm gonna use these kebabs with my chicken and make a different kind of chicken salad. And then I don't need to have, extra lettuce. So there's just always some quick ways for you to have really fun and different foods that are plant forward that don't take a ton of time for you to make.
Honestly, this is a good segment just because we know we're supposed to eat fruits and vegetables, but we get in a rut when it comes to figuring out what to do with them. And like you said, we don't want to be in the kitchen all day.
Yeah.
So look at this table, everybody. These are all things that we can do. Thank you so much, Vanessa.
Thanks for having me.
These are really yummy. By the way, there are so many easy recipes that make fruits and vegetables the star of any meal. So I'm glad we did this. Just go to today.com/food for breakfast, lunch, dinner. We have inspiration there. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you so much.
All right, coming up, hitting the pool or beach, use dumbbells and resistance bands to strengthen your arms for a better swim. And later, take a trip down the Hudson River in a kayak. That's right after this.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark.
How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? Can you tell us what it was like?
With our NBC News exclusive.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves.
They're pushing the gates open.
Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top story with Tom Yamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves.
They're pushing the gates open.
Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top story with Tom Yamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back. As temperatures heat up, we're showing off our arms in tank tops and sleeveless dresses. Fitness expert Stephanie Mansour is going to demonstrate easy exercises that will tone our upper body and inspire some confidence throughout the rest of the summer.
Hey everyone, I'm your trainer Stephanie Mansour, and right now we're all enjoying the best parts of summer, plus all of the outdoor activities like swimming, biking, and kayaking. So today I'm going to take you through a few easy exercises that you can do to strengthen and tone the upper body and the arms so that you feel good and strong in your summer tank tops and your sleeveless dresses. You can use dumbbells or resistance bands for these moves. I'm going to show you how to use them both. Let's start with bicep curls. Now, we're going to pick up the dumbbells here, and I have 3-pound weights, but you can start as low as 1 pound, or you can go up as high as 7 or 8 pounds. So starting with your feet as wide as your shoulders, pull your abs in, softly bend your knees. We're going to externally rotate the arms and move into a bicep curl with external rotation. We keep the elbows hugged in towards the side of your body so that we maintain proper form without getting out of alignment. We do 10 of those with the dumbbells. As an alternative, we can do 10 with the resistance bands. So standing on the resistance band with your feet as wide as your shoulders, externally rotating the shoulders here and the arms, holding those handles, exhale, curl up towards the shoulders and lower. Now, what's great about these resistance bands is you'll feel resistance on the way up and on the way down of every single movement. Now, next, I'm going to show you an overhead press, and this is a great move to work those shoulders and help make them look nice and sleek. We're going to start with the weights as high as your ears here in a goalpost position. Pull your abs in, exhale, press the weights up over the head, and come back to center. So you want to make sure that you can look forward and see these weights in your peripheral vision. Now, you might be asking, okay, that's great, but how can I do that exercise with resistance bands? Let me show you how. What we're going to do is instead of stepping on the resistance band with both feet, we're going to step with 1 foot forward, 1 foot back in a staggered position. Pull the abs in, bend the front knee slightly, hold on to the resistance band handles at your ears. This is ear level in that goalpost position. Exhale to press up and inhale lower. For the tricep kickback, we're going to lean forward, abs in tight, and hug the elbows up towards the sides. As you have the elbows bent, you're going to exhale and extend the arms back and then come to center. Make sure the upper arms are not moving. The upper arms are nice and stationary here as you're reaching the dumbbells back as if you're trying to punch the wall behind you with the tip of the dumbbell. Now I'm going to show you from the other side too. Leaning forward, hugging those elbows in. This is our starting position. We exhale, press back, inhale to center. Now we're gonna do the same motion with the resistance band, but instead of making you go get a new set of resistance bands, use the one with your handles, but have the handles hanging here with your hand underneath the resistance band, holding onto it at your chest. Use the other hand here with tension on the band, and then exhale to straighten the arm down, inhale to bend it. Exhale, straighten it down, inhale to bend. The next exercise, a lateral raise. So again, we're going back to those shoulders. So pick up those dumbbells for the dumbbell version of the lateral raise. Stand with the feet as wide as the hips, abs in, knees softly bent. We're going to exhale to bring the weights up as high as the shoulders. Great. And then inhale, lower down. We can also do this with the resistance band. So what we're going to do is grab the resistance band, step on it with both feet, and then we're going to open the arms out to the sides as high as the shoulders and lower down. And notice we've got that tension again on the upward motion and on the downward motion. All right, the last exercise in this upper body workout is V for victory. So we all want to feel victorious this summer and every day. So we're going to start with the feet as wide as the hips. Hold those dumbbells down at your hips. From here, we're going to lift the weights up into a V as high as the shoulders and lower down. Good. So I've got my palms facing each other on this because it's more comfortable to hold onto the dumbbells this way. And I don't want you to have to use your forearms or any other muscles to do this aside from the upper arms and the shoulders. Now we're going to lift up the resistance band to do this, and watch as I hold onto this resistance band with a different grip. So standing on the resistance band with your feet as wide as your hips, hold the bands down at your hips, and then with the palms face down, We're gonna lift up to that V and lower down. Good. Lift up to the V, relax the traps, lower down. So we do 10 reps of each of these. We repeat the entire series for 3 times total. And I promise you, if you do this routine every other day for a couple of weeks, you are gonna notice a major transformation in your arms and you're gonna feel so strong.
Thank you, Stephanie. You can do each of these exercises for 10 reps and do 3 rounds for a complete upper body workout. And it's never too late to get moving. In fact, join the Start Today community on Facebook to find others just like you who are getting stronger each day. Coming up, Donna shows off an easy staycation exercise that's perfect for the whole family just ahead. Stay with us.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong, elegant, and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers. Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Wellness Today. The best part of summer is the adventures, and oftentimes there is one right in your own backyard. We are joining Today contributor Donna Farazan as she goes on a relaxing kayaking journey down the Hudson River.
I kind of immediately feel like I'm on vacation.
Yeah, exactly. You feel like you're in the Caribbean and you're only 20 minutes outside of New York City.
There's more to do in Sleepy Hollow than hunt for the Headless Horseman.
Wow, this is gorgeous. Look at this. Can I dip my toe in?
Absolutely, absolutely. Feel the water
This is the
temperature.
first beach of the season, Mike. A little chilly, but refreshing. Why should kayaking be on everyone's list this summer?
It's the memories. Memories that you get to experience with family, friends. It's a team building activity.
My guide, Mike Napoleon, has led kayak tours with Hudson River Recreation for the past 4 seasons.
I always kind of introduce people to paddling sports as a lazy man sport. You want to do minimal effort to get as far as you want to go and then get to your destination and enjoy it. The water conditions are everything. You always kind of want to know your scenarios and know what you're getting into before you go.
After I got my life jacket on securely, Mike showed me a few paddling basics before we hit the water.
So if I take the center of my paddle here, I throw it right over my head, and I use that as my middle point, and I make 2 boxes here, one right here, and then another one with this arm. I now know that my elbows are right at 90 degrees, so now I can take my paddle, and I know the optimum placement for my hand.
Okay.
Big thing is, it's a sweep stroke. And the reason I say that is because it's really easy to remember that you're almost trying to sweep the floor, and that's gonna actually help me nice out and wide, and actually help me to actually turn the boat.
I feel ready for a total body workout.
I hopped in the cockpit.
All right, you all set?
I already love it. I could just sit here. We have to paddle now?
Well, that's part of the fun, but we don't have to go too far. It's all about enjoying the paddle.
I feel like I'm the star of my own movie right now.
There you go. Look at you cruising now. I'm gonna have to catch up.
Come catch up, Mike.
Full speed ahead.
And anyone can give this sport a try.
Kayaking's for everyone. I mean, all ability levels, all age groups. There's adaptive kayaking where there's special equipment that's involved. So it really has made the sport very inclusive and very adaptive too. Now as we come around the bend here, we have a fantastic view of the Tappan Zee Lighthouse, a great view of the Tappan Zee Bridge. There's something about being on the water, being able to just reach out and touch it. It's cleansing.
Oh, it feels really good. I will say the other great thing about this sport is that I really am only thinking about what I'm doing right
Exactly.
now.
You're in the moment.
Present. The water is crystal.
The water is beautiful, the perfect
clear.
temperature too. Couldn't ask for a better day.
What's your favorite thing to do at the end of each kayaking session?
I mean, obviously, are some nice tacos and a cervezas.
Tacos and a beer?
Absolutely. That's the way to go.
I had a great time, and I think we have one more thing that we need to do.
Do you?
Yeah. I have a little something for you. Thank you for being such a gracious host. Now it's time for my favorite part.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers. Great paddling with you.
Great paddling with you, to kayaking, to a
The
new
views.
zen that I need, and to the views.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Thanks to Hudson River Recreation for guiding Donna's trip in Sleepy Hollow. Well, thank you for joining me to embrace the joy that I call self-care summer. I hope you feel inspired to have some fun, eat a little healthier, and move in ways that makes your body feel energized, and to use this summer to prioritize you. I'm Chanel Jones, and we'll see you next time on Wellness Today.
It's part of the current cultural conversation. A hashtag child-free lifestyle, which has more than 270 million views on TikTok. The U.S. birth rate decreased by 4% from 2019 to 2020, making it the lowest number of births since 1979. And 44% of non-parents ages 18 to 49 say it is unlikely that they will have children someday. Even celebs like Mary J. Blige have weighed in about being child-free.
I like my freedom. I like being able to get up and go and move and do what I want to do. I don't want to have to tend to someone all the time.
Now that I'm 30, becoming a mom isn't supposed to be a far-off stage of life. The once taboo topic of infertility has become a dominating and important conversation. But it's also created a fear that's taken space for the initial question, do I even want kids? To find out, I got a little help from some new friends. Candace Bushnell, she's the 63-year-old author of Sex and the City who opted for a child-free lifestyle. Ty Beauchamp, this 44-year-old media maven and entrepreneur, decided to freeze her eggs in hopes to have children one day. Susana Madrigal, by day she runs an advertising agency, but the 48-year-old especially loves her title of mom to daughter Annalisa. Together, these ladies are helping me find my way.
I am so happy to have this conversation with you all, and I really want it to be just as raw and open as you want to be. I think it is going to start a lot of conversations beyond this and help a lot of people out, including myself, to be quite honest with you. I'm a little bit taking advantage of the resources I have to be able to culminate all the knowledge and make decisions for myself moving forward. How would you define being a mother?
Definitely not what I expected, but what I tell my daughter all the time, I'm here to be her protective guide through life. So whatever pitfalls or whatever shortcuts I can offer her, I'm going to tell her the truth about it and be here for her. I'm going to tell you what you don't want to hear, but I'm going to hug you at the end of it, and I'm going to tell you that I love you.
I'm not a mother yet. I am a godmother of 7. I would define motherhood and being a mother as giving, loving, something I look forward to, even though, quite frankly, at 44, there are question marks about whether or not I'll do it. There are certain parts of me right now at 44 where I'm evolving and also resolved. Like, how much of my life do I really want to change?
It's something that you're thinking about doing.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was 43, I'd just gotten married. My husband was 10 years younger, and I suppose we could have had kids.
Yeah.
He said he didn't want to have kids. I said I didn't want to have kids, and we never ever talked about it or thought about it again.
Wow. I've always desired to be a mother. Like, honestly, my best friend from childhood, I'm still best friends with now, will say that I talked about motherhood more than I did being married. I was told to focus on my career, and that's what I did. I forgot that you have, if you want relationship, you have to invest in that too.
Yeah. When I was in my 20s, it was the early 80s, you were somehow going to have it all. You were going to have a career, you were going to be married, you were going to have kids. Meanwhile, nobody had any idea, like, what does this career really look like? What does it really require? Because nobody had seen their mothers even doing it. You know, I mean, my mother worked, she started her own business, but you know, if you, like, a woman having a career was like, oh, keep that really quiet. We don't know anybody who does that. That was one of the things that was one of the driving forces of Sex and the City. Being a single woman in her 30s and hearing everybody tell you if you were a woman and when you turned 35, it was like the light switch went off.
Having a 28-year-old daughter, there still is a buzzer when it comes to the scary 35. She doesn't know if she ever wants to have kids, but just the possibility. She's like, do I have to find a boyfriend right now in order to, you know, have that, because that society still pushes.
So I froze my eggs at 35. I think the narrative that we've told ourselves about leaning into the career and leaning heavily into one area or certain areas of our lives and not putting the investment in the other areas. And that's what I would have done differently. We have to think about our lives holistically. And if you want return on the investment, you have to invest in it. And it doesn't mean that the investment is always going to yield. It's a risk, right?
I do think of life sort of as you can't talk about the personal without talking about the professional if you are in a career that you love and that you dream of. And so for me, I have spent so much time on my career happily, but it's only now that I'm starting to get into dating, sort of. I mean, I've had boyfriends in the past, I've had serious relationships, but I do think that now I'm sort of starting to think about my personal life as something I kind of need to conquer.
Yes.
In a way, as opposed to it just being there and being fun.
Relationships are still in the forefront. Yeah. Love is still in the forefront. I don't think that you give that up just because you choose to go, you know, and focus on your career. But now I see there's more strength behind it too. They're not dating someone just to have a boyfriend, you know, because like in the 80s, you know, where it was like, oh, I need this. It was just expected when we were growing up. If you got married and had babies right away and got your career, then happiness and joy was the reward with that.
Right.
And that's not true.
You already know you have so many options. So as you're considering the options of who you date, when you date, how you date, think about your life in this totality. Like, think about it and not be like fear-based around it, not like have it like, you know, give you anxiety, but think about what are those things that I imagine for my life? And what are the things that I want to imagine for my life for a lifetime and not just for a season?
When we first met and I told you my age, you said, freeze your eggs. That was the first thing that you said, freeze your eggs.
I say that to a lot of people and they're like, you just met me? I'm like, do it. I want younger women to have options and to know what their options are, whatever it is you decide for yourself. When I did it, it was about $17,000 of an investment in total. I spend $1,200 a year to preserve the eggs, and it feels like a worthwhile investment to me.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Hey, who's this?
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Yamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
If there was a scale of hope and pressure, where do you fall on that scale?
I'm accepting, and I don't feel pressured. There are certain things about my life I don't want to change. I just flew in from Aruba. I can do that with not having a child. If I have children, it takes a lot more resource in order for me to live my life the way that I like. I have learned that the longer you wait, the more comfortable you get with what you know. And what you know is what you will tend to lean into. It becomes a lot more difficult to change your mind and your thinking and to unlearn all the things that you've learned.
Well, and that's part of the societal norm that we sort of need to assess.
I was a lock-up key kid. I mean, all of us had our little, necklace key, and it's like we were taking care of ourselves. I was cooking for my brother. It was just like, where were mom and dad? They were working. My mother was doing the best she could with what she knew at the time.
Absolutely.
And she's grown so much, and I'm so proud of her, and I love her to pieces. I was deathly afraid of being disappointed and burdened like she was. And I didn't want to make somebody else feel that way because I didn't like feeling like a burden, growing up. I don't like babies. I don't like Cabbage Patch Kids. I never played with dolls. I never liked kids. I had to take care of my little brother. And so I was deathly afraid. And so when I did find out the first time, I was married and I was taking my pills, diligently, and I got pregnant. I ended up getting an ectopic pregnancy. When I spoke to the doctor next, he says, well, your chances of getting pregnant again are nil to void. And I thought, I knew it. I knew I was not meant to be a mother. I was right all along. And so I throw away my birth control pills, and a month later, I'm pregnant again.
You were meant to be a mom then.
I don't believe in coincidences. And I felt that I was being offered this challenge for a reason, and it was something that I needed to explore. And I didn't realize it, but I started to feel the icicles melt off my heart.
There's a recent Pew study that came out in 2021 that said 44% of adults between 18 to 49 who are non-parents have said they are likely to not have kids. Why do you think people are talking about this more?
You don't believe that?
You don't believe that. Why?
Tell me why.
Right now, over the age of 50 it's like 85% of women have children, which is huge. The more women who can have children do have children.
Because of the options, maybe?
I don't know if it's because of the options or if it's because of, it's I don't know, difficult to live socially unless you do have kids. I mean, is it really a choice if almost every woman is having a child? I don't know. Is it societal? It's interesting.
As the creator of Sex and the City, you created these characters, 2 of which never had kids.
I am so sick of these people with their children. I'm telling you, they're everywhere.
Was that just something that you didn't think twice of because it sort of emulated yourself?
It was really about a time when women were putting off getting married and having kids. They're your Sex and the City years, you're with your girlfriends, then they're the reproductive years when that's where you are. You're thinking about
I'm like
having a house, a partner, children. All of this is just really about technology that allows women to delay child birthing options.
One of the things that's interesting is I think that the career years have lengthened. I think the the growth of, women in the workplace, we're earning more and we extend those years. And so now being in my reproductive years at 44 is a little late, quite frankly.
To me, it seems so normal.
Does it seem normal?
Yes.
Only because I froze my eggs. Only because I froze my eggs, though. The career years are being lengthened and the reproductive years are coming later without the science and the technology and without the financial resource. Then you're left wondering what happens if you didn't think about it earlier.
Also, the landscape has changed.
Yes.
It used to be, oh, she's a working mom, she's a stay-at-home mom. Oh, she decided to have a career. I love that now. I mean, we get to choose whatever flavor of life we want that fits us.
I do feel like most women want to have kids, and if you want to have kids, you should be able to have them. But also, we shouldn't tell women that the only path to happiness is having kids.
Sure.
Or not having kids. If you want it, do it. If it fits right for you, then do it. Just be genuine and be authentic. And just go with it.
The actual choice of becoming a mother is something that so many people are now finally, I think, feeling the freedom and almost the bravery of being able to talk about that, because I think that, for example, Mary J. Blige just recently said on her decision to not having kids, she said, "I like my freedom." And when I read that, I was thinking about that because as a 30-year-old living alone, I have a lot of freedom. In thinking about this choice, I realized, wait a minute, I fear that freedom will turn into a void for me. And in realizing that, I kind of am leaning more towards, oh wait, maybe I do want to have kids. Maybe it's not a societal pressure that I feel, but let me reflect on that.
I think that that's powerful. And I that's one of the things that I absolutely love about social media and the conversations that we're having. It goes back to the options, but the reality is that every age we're always going to be evolving, which is why I say, as you take in this information, as you assess, as you evaluate, as you say, okay, this is what I'm thinking right now, why not create as many options for yourself as possible? When I started to share this story of me freezing my eggs, it was not standard, and especially for a Black woman to talk about it. I can't tell you how many people said that they read the article in Essence, or they saw me on the cover of the New York Post, or whatever, talking about this before Facebook. I wanted women to think about their options. It wasn't because you have to do this. Just know that there are options out there for you, and I love that you're considering what those options are.
As time goes on, I think we'll have more and more time and more technology to decide whether, when, how we're going to have children. I mean,
I agree.
It's, a lot of people on TikTok at 30 years old saying, oh, I'm not going to have kids. You know what? Give them 10 years. I promise you, half of them will have kids, because it's something that it's life. Life happens to you when you're not looking. It's like, I fell in love, it's like people do kind of grow up and evolve.
The midterms are here. It's time to plan your vote. We'll provide everything you need to know to successfully cast your ballot. Just select any state you want to learn about for the primary or general election, and you'll instantly get voting rules, see the next big deadline, and learn how to take action for your plan. Voting rules have changed since 2020, and those rules vary from state to state. So it's time to get planning for 2022. Visit NBCNews.com/planyourvote today.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? Her name is Lester. Who's this?
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark.
How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? Can you tell us what it was like?
With our NBC News exclusive. It was Lester. What is this?
Did ambition play a role, a factor into your decision to not have kids?
Even when I was a kid, I didn't want kids. I always felt like I would be an outlier by not having kids, but I was okay with that. I wanted to be in New York and be a writer and you know, being married and having kids wasn't part of the culture.
And was it not part of what fulfilled you also?
It wasn't something that I was thinking was going to fulfill me. I was, you know, it's like you come to New York, you kind of, the understanding is you come here to make it. So you come here to, you know, maybe having kids and being married is part of it, but it's like you are coming to New York to make it because it's too hard to live. It was too hard to live here.
Yeah.
So.
And you made it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever thought about my ambition getting in the way of it. I do know that I was always incredibly driven. And I think it was easy for me to prioritize my career. My career was an outcome of what I did. It didn't rely on anyone else. So I could trust Ty Beauchamp. I'm like, Ty can do this and Ty will focus and do this. I was raised by single Black women. And so for them, there wasn't the luxury. It was like, you have to achieve, you have to. And they taught me what they knew. And education was it, and focusing on building yourself was it, because we were told that we couldn't rely on anyone else.
Yes.
I'm trying to unlearn a lot of those things now in order to build trust in a relationship. I'm trying to unlearn those things in order to really be a great partner and hopefully a wonderful wife. But ambition was it, because that's what I was taught the Holy Grail was.
And that was how you were going to survive.
And exactly.
You know,
that would
that
happen with
and
or without
it's
kids.
that it's a message that it's like that I guess I got as a kid was that, you know, well, you don't rely on a relationship to make you happy.
I got married at 19, had an Elisa at 20, you know, and it was just, I was so young, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what life was about. And putting myself, you know, in second place all the time, I never did get to put myself through college. I instead just worked, went up the ranks, and then am now, you know, I've never had to rely, you know, on anyone, but I've always had myself.
And I do think it's interesting, though, in looking back, Ty, I know that you were saying there are things that you would have changed. What does that mean? Does that mean you would have prioritized things differently?
Absolutely. I would have prioritized things differently. You become more set in your ways. And so, like I said, I'm trying to unlearn a lot of things that have worked for me as a single person. Once I become a mother, I'm gonna have to unlearn a lot of things that have worked for me as, you know, not being a mom, right? I tell all young women I meet, from the time you're out of college or whatever until you're 28, 29, go crazy. Get to know yourself through relationships. But then if you think that you might want to partner with someone, in my experience, I would have done it a lot sooner and with intention. I always saw myself as a wife. I always saw myself having a partner once I started to think about that. But it was so easy, and it was almost natural and instinctive for me to prioritize career. It's why I can start one business, but with Brown Girl Jane, I have incredible business partners because I know I want to live in partnership. And so I would prioritize differently.
I love that. I know I want to live in partnership.
I
think
know I
that's
want to live
so
in partnership.
Powerful.
I want to
so
live in
important.
partnership, and that for me is my truth. Now, as I said, I'm trying to figure out all these tools to sharpen it, to get good at it and get better at it, because I didn't have it as a baseline.
Some of my friends and I talk about the fear of responsibility.
That's real.
Do you feel that too? Or does that just mean I'm not ready?
Well,
I mean, what is that?
I think, well, fear is something that I think is a healthy tool. I think about my life changing both, in partnership, long term. I think about my life changing with children and what that looks like. And I have to have honest conversations with myself about what I'm willing to amend, what I wouldn't be willing to amend, and then figuring out the resources I need to live that. But fear is real. Fear is real. I mean, the thought of not being able to get on a plane when I want, I'm like, kid, like,
well,
what we
thank you
gonna
for
do?
saying that.
I mean,
because
it's true.
But
I love my life.
I don't think a lot of people, touch on that. And I think that that's such a real component. Sometimes you're so in your head and you think.
I mean, are you afraid that you're going to just say, I can't do this? And
no, but I just am sort of like, I don't feel ready yet to
change your life.
Well, it's not even that. I still feel like, as I said earlier, like a student of life.
You still have seeds to, you have seeds to sow.
Yeah.
But what I imagine happens is that some of those things that even I'm afraid of, I'll start to feel the love and feel supported and nurtured and get what I need in the marriage and also in the love of the child, right? So it'll start to, I don't know if harmony. There'll be some harmony.
I wanted to make sure that I had with her was a relationship.
Yeah.
I never wanted her to feel unwanted, so maybe I went overboard and I included her in everything. If Annalisa did oh Mom, are you gonna have dinner with me? Well, you know what? Is it okay if I bring my kid to our dinner meeting? And I would bring her and I would involve her and I wanted her to see what it was to be in an adult situation. I wanted her to see herself in a career. I wanted her to want more and to be exposed to more.
Right. Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark.
How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? Can you tell us what it was like?
With our NBC News exclusive. It was Leslie. What is
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
We're talking about the choice, but some women and some people are not afforded the choice.
Right.
And based on different circumstances. So what do you want them to take away from this conversation?
I'm a believer in the power of women. I believe that in all of my bones. We are equipped abundantly to deal with circumstances even when they're the most challenging. We have to trust deeply that with whatever hands we're dealt, that we can rise to the occasion and do the best, and then seek support as much as possible.
And I think happiness and growth is not a one-size-fits-all.
I mean, we live in a different time when people can be single. We don't have to live the same way that we used to. People are gonna have kids under all kinds of different circumstances.
Of course, younger people who have this new landscape, there is no model.
Right.
And so it really is a pick and pull, right? That you're saying, okay, I like what this means. I like what this signifies. I like what this brings. And then deciding for yourself. And that makes it very challenging because it's not like, just following a roadmap, like saying, I want to be this or look like, because it doesn't, it's not all that meets the eye. But I think that that's powerful because now we just have to take all these moments, right?
I regret having gotten married so young, but I do not regret what came out of that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't change that for the world. Not for the world. I because of that experience, I became someone I never thought I had the capability of becoming. I've grown so much. I see people so differently now. Now, what I would have done was, having taken the chance, and instead of trying to sustain a certain lifestyle and just keep working, not to the mention, part of it, but I should have at least invested in myself and gone ahead and decided, instead of having a career choose me, having chosen a career.
I think the power of choice is everything now. And I think sometimes figuring out what to do with that
is sometimes daunting.
Yeah.
Now with so many options, it's almost like, which one is the yellow brick road? I think what it ultimately comes down to is consciousness, and also not just acting for right now. At least as we look at all of these yellow brick roads, right? You're like, what do I want to be most conscious about now?
Right.
What are you thinking you'd like to do?
I really went in thinking, like, gosh, everyone just expects you to be a mom at a certain age. I think that that's what you're supposed to do. So I never really paused to think about, what do I want to do? I think ultimately I do want to have kids. I think that, preserving that in any way to elongate the amount of time that you can maybe do that and make the right decisions for yourself is something that's at the forefront for me. I don't feel ready for that right now, but I hope to be ready for that at some point.
Great. Sometimes it's just making the best of where you are, as opposed to all the what ifs.
I love that. There is no wrong choice when you make the choice for yourself. There are so many roads to motherhood, and I see so many incredible people who mother who don't have biological children. I've also thought about adopting. There are so many ways to it, but I think just the consciousness. So I'm rooting you on.
It just feels good to peel back the layers that, we're human beings. So we are allowed to have a lot of opinions and thoughts and maybe pivot points in different decision-making processes and in different choices. And I think let's pass that awareness on.
Everybody, great to be back with you for a brand new Popstar Plus when we're gearing up for that final episode of Stranger Things with an interview with one of the show's stars. And we had the great pleasure of having Steve Carell in the studio. That was just this morning, Studio 1A. We're going to share that conversation with you. And later, we've queued up a fun 90s throwback with Kathy Bates to celebrate her birthday today. All that is coming up at first, today's Popstar headlines. Chris Martin's first up on Popstar today. From the world's biggest stages to a tiny barroom stage, the Coldplay frontman is proving that he can do it all. He recently surprised a lucky couple when he was visiting the Stag Inn. We'll give him the credit. It's a bar over in the UK. After a quick chat with them about their wedding, Chris just decided to give him a little private performance. Take a look.
What's your name again?
Hannah.
And?
Jeremy.
You're getting married in a minute.
28th of August.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
but he's doing the food.
Figurative minute.
And that's
Alfie's piano.
Cause you're a sky, oh, you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart.
People walking by the bar like, yeah, the guy thinks he's Chris Martin. What's going on in there? Yeah. Of course, if like any good bar, what do? You tweet that video out. And now people stop in there hoping to see this moment. Chris visiting them. They wrote he's a lovely guy. He ordered a Guinness.
Of course
there you go. He's
Please.
the perfect man. All right, next up, Hocus Pocus 2. Kevin Ford and Chris Martin, like same people. Disney just dropped the first teaser trailer for the highly anticipated sequel. It's been almost 3 decades since the Halloween cult classic debuted, and all 3 of the original Sanderson sisters have returned for the next chapter. It's Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy. They are back to terrorize Salem, get their revenge, and maybe put on one more memorable concert.
Maiden, Mother, and Crone 2. We call on thee with one request. Help our intentions manifest.
Lock up your children! Yes, Salem, we're back!
Hey, it's the Sanderson sisters.
I bet you're looking for the stage.
Always.
I don't know if I ever saw the first one, but that reminded me of Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board.
Oh, yeah.
Light as a Feather. Did you
So
ever do
scary.
that?
My mom said never play that at
Yeah,
a
but
sleepover.
you did, didn't you?
What is
Maybe once or twice. You don't know Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board?
No.
You ever have a sleepover?
It was like the
try and
sleepover.
levitate a friend of
Yes.
yours.
Really?
Yeah, using
Yeah,
powers.
that and the
Hocus
Ouija board.
Pocus 2.
Another
That was
thing,
scary.
never do the Ouija board.
That's right. Until Mattel came out with a game of it, I think. September 30th, Disney Plus, you can see Hocus Pocus 2. Bruce Willis is up next. The actor headed to the big screen in a new action flick called The Wrong Place. Back in March, Willis announcing his plans to step away from acting after being diagnosed with aphasia, a condition that affects a person's ability to communicate. In his latest role, he plays the guy that we love, a former cop on a mission to rescue his daughter. Here's a peek. Call your dad.
Chloe, are you okay?
I'm just at the cabin, and I wanted to make sure that you're still coming. Why do you need to get to my dad?
Fix what's broken. You made a crucial mistake. I'm gonna do what I do best.
Nothing personal, pal. He's just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
See, and I'm going to watch that movie. That's what I do.
Yeah, of course.
Wrong Place. That's going to be in theaters on demand, also on July 15th. Next up, America's Got Talent. In a preview for tonight's audition round, 23-year-old opera singer Marissa Beddoes wowed the judges with her ability to hit high notes. Not only that, but also doing some impressions of some pretty famous voices. So what she did is she gave Heidi Klum like a die. It had different names of singers on and asked her to call for various impressions while she was singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Wow.
Stevie Nicks. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Celine Dion. Where troubles met, walk lemon drops, way above the chimney tops. And that's where you'll find me.
Siri?
Birds fly over the rainbow. Why, then oh why can't I?
Oh, that's perfect.
This is funny, too.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Okay.
Right? And then there's no golden buzzer?
Yeah,
Right.
golden buzzer time.
We're going to find out what happens tonight. Watch NBC and you can see how it all went. And here's a few more headlines for you, including the movie Barbie that everybody cannot wait to see. We got a little sneak peek for you of the cast. I mean, look at some of these names. Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, Kate McKinnon, and Will Ferrell. Some new photos from the set revealing a first look at the superstars and their characters. They snapped them yesterday in Los Angeles. Robbie and Gosling rocking some very bright colors as their characters, Barbie and Ken. In head-to-toe neon, the actors were caught skating along Venice Beach and having a good laugh. Wearing a more muted shade of Barbie pink was actor Will Ferrell, who donned some skates of his own, and according to The Hollywood Reporter, Will is set to play the CEO of a toy company in the movie, but we're gonna have to wait a little while for this one to see it. Barbie slated to be released next summer. And finally, Taylor Lautner. We've seen him land crazy stunts on the big screen in movies like Twilight and Grown Ups 2. Well, it turns out that Taylor doesn't need a stunt double. In a new video, the actor's showing off some serious action moves straight from a wedding reception on the dance floor. Check that out.
With all the force of a great typhoon, with all the strength of a raging fire, mysterious as the dark side of the moon. Time is racing.
These guys are into it, man. That's a heck of a wedding. Talk about a dynamic duo. Well, unfortunately for Taylor Lautner, that suit wasn't made for extreme dancing at weddings, and he did rip his pants. Everybody had a good laugh at it, but it looked like it was worth it. And there you have it, your Popstar Plus headlines still to come. That's why I don't go to weddings anymore. Brett Gelman's going to speak to us about working with Winona Ryder and, of course, all the young stars of Stranger Things.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told. No. Do you remember any tornado as bad as this one? You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months. Exactly. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Yamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong.
Elegant and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers.
Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
And welcome back with the final episodes of the hit show Stranger Things, set to be released on Friday. We thought we'd catch up with one of the show's stars. Brett Gelman returns as Murray and spoke to us about working with the cast on this, the final chapter.
I think Murray has very much evolved this season. He found his people more. He's a slightly less isolated, slightly less jaded person than he was in season 3, because he sort of learned what it meant to have friends. So you see that development a little bit, but he's still, he's still a bit of a grouch and a grump. Yeah, a misanthrope, as they say. We love a good critic who calls things out how they are, calls it like it is. So, and I think that that's very much a lot of what Murray's role is in this show.
It's time.
It is the darkest season. And, the approach to Murray, as I play him, I get to know him more and more. So it goes deeper and deeper. But things are always bad. My favorite part about playing Murray is that I get to be sort of the urban character amongst all these rural characters. And then he sort of brings a city vibe to it.
Это может лиси. А вот наручники на тебе, сволочь советская. Hi, Jim.
That I get to be one of the, a character of somewhat comedic relief in this action, thriller, horror series, which is a kind of character that I grew up wanting to play, and just, getting to be in these amazing action sequences and the intensity of it, while still getting to really delve into who he really is and the humor of it is just the best. Getting to be in the Duffer Brothers world that they created as this character.
What? Do me a favor and move your lover's quarrel elsewhere, okay?
This? Not a lover's quarrel, pal.
Spare me!
What is your problem?
Please, stop talking!
No!
I can't tell you much about what Murray and Joyce are up to in it, but working with Winona is it's a childhood dream. She's one of the greatest actresses and movie stars of all time, and it's amazing to me that I can call Winona Ryder a friend of mine. That's just it's one of those just bizarre things of pinching myself that this is my life. And we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun when we work together. She is one of the kindest people and so funny. And so getting to be working with her on this almost every day that I worked on this show was just an amazing treat.
Scoop's troop, this is Bald Eagle.
I've reached another junction.
This is what?
The fourth junction.
All right, so if memory serves, this is right after the My Little Pony thesis.
We went left, so he has to go right.
Fly right, bald eagle.
Fly right.
Roger that. Flying right. Little
Seeing the teens' growth has been amazing. I mean, they're really like just a great bunch of people. Really just so incredibly talented and nice and professional and fun to be around. So to see that they haven't become like disaster people, it's nice to see that that has not happened and that they've all stayed grounded. It's amazing. I'm really grateful that the Duffer Brothers wrote me more stuff in the show, and that they made Murray's characters, Murray's involvement in the show grow. And it's just, it's insane. You forget it, because when you're working on the show, it just feels like family, that we're just all, cast and crew. It's like we're here to do a job and get it done and have a good time together. When you step away and you are reminded just how massive the show is. I am the most excited for people to see me, just do amazing acting in this season. It's really remarkable, and I think that people will really, really enjoy my performance in a way that they haven't ever before. So that's very exciting to me. I'm really excited to. I just really, this season, I think it's the best season, and I think the other 3 seasons have been amazing. But I think this is everything, like the up to the millionth degree. It is scarier, more action-packed, and funnier than previous seasons. And there is such an amazing balance of all of that. It's just like, it's really awesome.
Thanks to Brett for hanging out with us. And again, Volume 2 of Stranger Things, Season 4 drops on Friday. All right, coming up, Steve Carell, a.k.a. Gru himself, fills us in on the latest word from the world of Minions.
This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate it.
The midterms are here. It's time to plan your vote. We'll provide everything you need to know to successfully cast your ballot. Just select any state you want to learn about for the primary or general election, and you'll instantly get voting rules, see the next big deadline, and learn how to take action for your plan. Voting rules have changed since 2020, and those rules vary from state to state. So it's time to get planning for 2022. Visit NBCnews.com/plan your vote today.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong.
Elegant and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers.
Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
And welcome back to Pop Star Plus. Steve Carell's back as the voice of the villainous Gru in the new Minions movie, The Rise of Gru, and he stopped by Studio 1A to tell us all about it.
Well, we are back, and check it out. Our plaza has been taken over. We've been minionized, and we love it. But what are they without the big boss himself, Gru? And we are joined now by Steve Carell, who returns as the supervillain in Minions: The Rise of Gru. But this time, Gru is 11 3/4 years old and just meeting our yellow friends for the very first time. Take a look.
When you guys tracked me down and responded to my help wanted ad, I was like, who are these tiny tater tots? And where did they get so much denim?
Steve Carell, good morning.
Good morning.
We meet again.
I know.
Can you believe that this has had such staying power? It started with Despicable 1, then 2, then the Minions movie. This is, I think, is this the 5th in the franchise?
Yes.
Would you have ever thought this would be the one?
Not until I saw the first one.
Yeah.
Honestly, because it takes like a year and a half, 2 years to do the voice and, you know, all the animation. They animate to the voice. And I thought it's a good script. It's really fun. I love the people involved. But then when you see the final product and what the animators and directors, producers do to it, incredible.
When they first were like, we're gonna have these little yellow guys. They wear denim overalls. They've like, some of them have one eye. They speak a language no one can understand, but everybody kind of understands. Were you like, oh, that's gonna be a hit?
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, well, good luck. Good luck with those minions. That's an ace idea. And yeah, they were geniuses.
Is it the Minions that is the secret to the success, or let's be honest, is it Gru?
It's Gru.
Yes.
It's mostly Gru, I think. No, the Minions, and they've been described as Twinkies or tater tots, little pills. You know, it's sort of incomprehensible to me that it became what it became. But people love them, and I think it's because they're equal parts obnoxious and endearing.
They are, and mischievous. I mean, I love them. That's the funny thing about it. It's like grown-ups like these movies too. You were telling me even your kids who are now young adults wanted to come to the premiere.
Oh yeah, yeah, they were so excited. And my son, after the premiere, pulled me aside and said, "Dad, seriously, you know, all kidding aside about this, you know, in a kid's movie," he's like, it was really good. Like, and I love it because he's an aspiring film student. He's like, I love the shots, I love the composition, you know, all of the editing, the timing. Like, he really was into the movie as a movie, and it was fun to see. The first one came out when he was like 4 or 5, and now he's 18, and so he has an appreciation in a different way.
That's high praise, especially from a teenager.
Yeah.
Like, just to say anything nice about anything a parent is involved in.
Yeah.
Like, good on you. So let's talk. This is Gru's origin story.
Yeah.
I love that it takes place in the 70s because that's just a magical template for them to work on. The outfits, the cost, the music, all of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the music. I mean, it's all a big part of what the nostalgia of it. I think is what's going to appeal to the adults. There is one joke in it about the length of time it takes to dial a rotary phone.
Yes.
That's maybe one of my favorite parts of the movie.
It's incredible. Gru is 11 3/4 years old, which made me think about you in the 70s at 11 3/4 years old.
Yeah.
What kind of kid were you?
Well, I was really cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, no nerdy, anything?
No. I had it all dialed in.
Were you a bully kind of too?
No.
Just kidding.
No, I had long hair.
Yeah.
And we called them flares.
Oh, like bell bottoms?
They were bell
kinda?
bottoms, yeah. I had like purple striped ones. So I was kind of rocking the look. Remember Fry boots?
Yeah,
I used to wear Fry boots.
Oh yeah, and were you like a ladies' man? Did the
oh yeah,
5th graders just like you?
Clearly, and still am.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know. Other than you've been married for like 50 years. How many years have you been married?
Right. We've been married 50 years.
I know, which is odd because you're 60.
27.
I know. Oh, 27 years. I know. Your beautiful wife, your kids. I was thinking about though, like you really got big. You were in your late 30s, almost 40, and I was just thinking about that's a long time to be trying to make it big, to be a journeyman in this business.
Well, I wasn't really trying to make it big. I just a journeyman was great for me.
Yeah.
I was happy making a living. That was the aspiration, just to make a living at acting, and the rest of it was just sort of gravy, really.
What's the best job you ever had? We just had Kevin Ford on. He didn't miss a shift in 27 years, which is so sweet. What's of all your jobs that you've had?
The worst one pops to mind.
Oh, what?
I worked in the produce department of a supermarket.
Oh.
And I had to wrap fruit in cellophane.
Oh.
I don't know why they did it at that point. To keep it fresh, I guess?
It was the 70s.
Yeah. Exactly.
You were 11 3/4.
Yeah, that was a tricky time.
Yeah, and the boxes get all soggy there in the produce department. I know.
And I was terrible at it. At one point, I was stocking popcorn on the shelves, and I accidentally poked a hole in the bag. So I took one of the labelers to put the price tags on, and I sealed up the hole with like 18 prices. And then my manager said, "What's this?" And he peeled it off and popcorn over the floor.
Clean up aisle 5.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you. The movie is a delight. And it's because of you, Gru. It's your origin story. It's all about Gru.
You're just saying that.
No, I'm not. I love you, Gru. And I love the Minions. It's from our parent company, NBC Universal and Illumination. But we'd be saying this no matter what, because it's a fabulous movie and the kids will love it. Thank you.
Thanks.
A Day Made Better by the great Steve Carell, and having the Minions here. So much fun. Be sure and check out Minions, The Rise of Gru. From our parent company, NBC Universal and Illumination. That hits theaters on Friday. Coming up, a 90s throwback with Oscar winner, honoring her birthday, the great Kathy Bates.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong.
Elegant and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers.
Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong.
Elegant and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers.
Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back. The talented Kathy Bates, who turns 73 years young today, has played so many terrific roles in her career. And in her honor, we're taking a look back here to 1998 when she spoke with us about her characters in Titanic and Primary Colors.
So this has been a great time for you, hasn't it?
It's been a great year.
Well, first of all,
really
we should probably
Well,
introduce
this is Griffin. This is Griffin. I brought him with me. He's my sweetheart. He's my boy. So
yeah,
thanks for letting me bring him.
You
on the
rescued
show.
him a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago, we rescued him.
He's very fascinated by our interview. You're not allowed to yawn with Griffin.
So, and I brought him to New York for the first time. He's more of an LA dog, so he's still getting used to the trucks and the traffic and the people and everything.
And you get to follow him around with a plastic bag.
That's right.
A whole new
pink plastic bag on your hand.
Oh boy! All right. Well, let's get back to the movies, shall we?
Yeah.
Tell me about how excited you were with the Titanic's incredible sweep of the Oscars.
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, so many people worked on the film. It was just an amazing experience. I think the most incredible experience was working in the dining room, going and being in that scene there and sitting down at your place, and you'd see a plate that was an exact replica of what they brought up from the debris field, and the silver had all the White Star insignias stamped on it.
Even
was
the
just
cards
amazing.
that had the menus.
Amazing.
I mean, it was just all so meticulously done, wasn't it? Did that make it eerie in a way?
It was eerie. Ken Marshall, who did the illustrated history of the Titanic, came and he was there the day we shot the dining room scene, and he just stood there with his mouth open, and he said, "It'll never be done like this again." It was as though he stepped into one of his own paintings.
Yeah. Were you surprised that Titanic did so well at the Oscars?
No, I think everybody expected it. You go and meet kids who've seen it like 8, 10, 11 times. And I get so many young kids, coming up to me for autographs, but I realize it's not for me, it's because I was on the boat with Leo. I mean, let's face it, their eyes just glaze over.
That is so amazing. I guess he's this generation's Davy Jones or whatever, whoever was my David Cassidy, I'm not sure. But it's crazy, isn't it? Isn't it a bit insane?
It is insane. He's such a talented. I fell in love with him when he did Gilbert Grape.
What's Eating Gilbert? Was he not magnificent in that role? And I thought, wow, this guy is so gifted.
He's amazing. He's amazing. He's a real phenom. He's a chameleon,
Yeah.
you know, and lovely to work with.
Really sweet, isn't he?
Yeah.
Before we talk about primary colors,
Yes.
which I think is one of the main reasons we're here, I have to ask you about Molly Brown. How did it happen? You play, of course, the unsinkable Molly Brown in Titanic. How did it happen, Kathy, that she just happened to have a dinner suit that fit Jack perfectly? You know, that required a little more suspension of disbelief than I was capable of.
I know, it's true. Well, we figured out that maybe, you know, she was shopping in Europe and
It was for her son.
Right, she was bringing it back
I
for
was
her
like,
son.
sure.
You know, it's like,
why did you
well.
say change that, huh? Did you think that
Well,
was a
you know.
little far-fetched?
It was a little far-fetched, but you know, it's the movies. So.
Yeah, you're right. I guess I shouldn't take it so seriously. Well, let's talk about primary colors, because I confessed to you during the commercial that I haven't seen it yet. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. But from what I hear, you steal the show.
Well, it's a great part. It's a plum part. I play Libby Holden, who's one of his political operatives, and from the moment I read it, I knew it was a terrific part. It's
Why?
It's the best part I think I've had to come down the pike in a long time.
Better than Misery, or?
Well, it's as good as,
Yeah.
I think.
What makes it
certainly.
so good?
Well, because you get to do the whole thing. It's the whole arc. She's crazy, she's funny, but she's also
outrageous,
profound, and
isn't
she's
she?
outrageous, but she's also got a lot of depth, and she's you got the pathos as well as the comedy, you know, and it's everything. It's the whole ball of wax, and to work with somebody like Mike Nichols, who, you know, is great taste and smart, and Elaine
is so
Mason.
smart, huh?
He's just amazing.
And not to mention John Travolta, and Emma Thompson, who I adore.
Yeah,
Talk
she's
about
great.
smart.
I know,
mean,
she's so supportive too. When we had our first rehearsal, we were sitting next to each other, and there's like a big long aria at the end that Libby has, and after I did it, she kind of reached over and grabbed my hand and was real supportive and friendly, and it's just great working with everybody. I think the film also has some more profound things to say about the political process. It's not just about a Clinton-esque family. I think it has to do with how we do elect our leaders, and how we feel about that whole electoral process, and what someone has to give up in order to become elected. you
right,
know.
which is certainly very much in the public discourse these
Yeah,
days.
it is.
Well, Kathy Bates, I'm really happy for all your success. Congratulations
Thanks.
on everything.
Thanks,
Great to
Katie.
see you.
He's
Griffin
gone for
was
his nap.
fascinated by everything we had to say. Anyway, good to see you.
Thank you.
Very cool. And of course, we are wishing a very happy birthday to Kathy Bates. And there you have today's Pop Star Plus, everybody. Thanks for being here. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Until then, make it a great one. Today, all day. See you soon, folks.
Well, good to see you. It's Tuesday. You're watching Today All Day. We hope you all had a great holiday weekend. This is Today in 30. Savannah's off. Craig Melvin here with me.
Always good to be with you. We've got a lot to cover from this morning show. Of course, we're going to be starting with the latest from the scene of that tragic mass shooting at a 4th of July parade in Highland Park, Illinois. Tom Yamas on the scene for us. He's going to bring us the very latest on the investigation there. Also, straight ahead, our interview with the mayor of Highland Park. She had some very interesting things to say to you.
She sure did. Then in our series, Today's Summer Savings, we're here to help you tackle your credit card debt. We're going to let you know the steps you can take to bring down the balance and get you one step closer to financial freedom.
And then, have you ever thought of traveling to your favorite TV show destinations, from Yellowstone to Outer Banks, everywhere in between? We're here to tell you how to get there and the best places to stay. It's all coming up right now on Today in 30.
Let's start with the overnight developments. We'll go to NBC's Tom Yamas. He's right there at the scene at Highland Park. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Hoda, good morning to you. We are on that very parade route this morning. Eyewitnesses say the kids' bike parade had just finished. The parade was kicking off the main parade when they heard gunfire. Behind me, you can see abandoned chairs, abandoned strollers as parade goers fled for their lives. And this morning, we have a second angle showing where that gunfire was coming from. Police say the gunman was hiding on a rooftop across from the crowd, firing down on them. Those people had nowhere to go, and two doctors you're about to hear from who were here say those directly hit had no chance at survival. From every angle, chaos, confusion, and carnage. A July 4th celebration through the center of town transformed into a mass casualty incident.
Active shooter call in Highland Park.
Police say the gunman took a sniper-like position, firing onto the parade from a roof using a high-powered rifle.
I picked up my kids and we ran again. I put them in a garbage dumpster, and then I ran back to look for my partner and her daughter, and I saw people shot on the ground.
The attack sending crowds scrambling, panicked parents trying to protect their children.
Just this horrific pow, pow, pow. And then you heard people screaming, bodies down, run for your life. That's what I heard.
Dr. David Banh, along with Dr. Lauren Schechter, were at the parade with their families, initially running for safety, then turning back around and treating the wounded.
All of a sudden there was a stampede of people coming, and then I realized it was gunshots, and I literally just thought to myself, this is how it's going to end.
At least 6 people shot and killed, more than 30 injured. The doctors couldn't believe what they were seeing.
It was quite a horrific scene.
As first responders tried to save lives, authorities launched a county-wide dragnet looking for the shooter. More than 8 hours later, a North Chicago police officer spotted the person they were looking for, attempted a traffic stop before the man led police on a short pursuit. This video appears to show the man whom police say can be considered a suspect on the ground, taking him into custody. Police identified the alleged shooter as 22-year-old Robert E. Cremo III. He grew up in the same Chicago suburb he targeted. A number of social media posts from the suspect have been uncovered, including disturbing music videos. The attack follows a string of high-profile mass shootings from Buffalo to Uvalde to Tulsa, all of them involving high-powered AR-style rifles. All of it robbing residents at a local celebration of their sense of safety and security. And this bloodshed is happening in yet another American town. And if you've never heard of Highland Park, trust me when I say you know this area. This suburb has been the backdrop for several major Hollywood films, including Home Alone, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and 16 Candles. It is a quintessential American suburb. Families come here and they love it because it's safe, they know each other, and it's where you want to raise your children if you have the means. And this morning, there is a lot of anger here because residents say the shooter was trouble for a long time, and the content in those social media videos are more than just red flags. They were announcements of what was to come, so many feeling this one could have been stopped, Hoda.
All right, Tom, thank you so much. Joining us now is the mayor of Highland Park, Nancy Rodring. Mayor, good morning. It is good to see you. Yesterday, there was an arrest made. A person of interest, now I think a suspect in the case, was arrested. I know there have been a lot of overnight developments. Why don't you get us up to speed?
At the moment, we're waiting for the charges to be levied against the individual. And frankly, my greater focus this morning, as the sun is rising, is how my community is feeling. The unbelievable sadness, the unbelievable shock. This tragedy never should have arrived on our doorsteps. And as a small town, everybody knows somebody who was affected by this directly. And of course, we're all still reeling.
Yeah, I mean, so many people, I'm sure, over the 4th of July were at small town parades. And so many things struck me about your town. In 2013, you signed an assault weapons ban that was in place and is in place. There are a lot of pieces to put together about what happened. Tell us where we are, where that's concerned. Do you know anything about where the gun may have come from?
I don't know where the gun came from, but I do know that it was legally obtained. And I think at some point this nation needs to have a conversation about these weekly events involving the murder of dozens of people with legally obtained guns. If that's what our laws stand for, then I think we need to reexamine the laws.
What does it tell you about us as a nation? I feel like we see so many shootings. There was at a grocery store, fourth graders at a school. What does this tell you about our country?
Frankly, it tells us that our values are askew. Yesterday, we came together as a community to celebrate independence and freedom after 2 years of not having a parade. We were ready to come together as a community and celebrate our nation. And in fact, as a result, because of this gun culture, our nation turned its back on us and turned its back on our celebration. We as a country have to have a very strong conversation with ourselves. I don't know how many more of these events need to occur. We've been talking about this literally for decades at this point. And it's one of those things where you ask yourself, if this reflects the values of who we are, then what does that say about us as a nation?
Let's speak about the suspect for a minute. His name is Robert Quinoa III. People are trying to piece together who this individual was. There are reports that his father ran for mayor against you, that he was a high school dropout. What do we know about the suspect? Is he known to police?
I don't believe he was previously known to police until yesterday. I know him as somebody who was a Cub Scout when I was the Cub Scout leader. And it's one of those things where you step back and you say, what happened? How did somebody become this angry, this hateful, to then take it out on innocent people who literally were just having a family day out?
What did you know? I didn't know you were his Cub Scout leader. What did you know about him even at that young age?
He was just a little boy.
Huh. Yeah. You know, there were reports that he posted some chilling and frightening videos. I think a lot of people have already seen them online. There's footage of a young man in a bedroom and in a classroom with cartoons of gunmen and people being shot. And, when you're putting together that footprint, tell us what is going into that part of the investigation.
I would have to say that we want the police to answer questions specific to the investigation. We know that several postings really reflected a plan and a desire to commit carnage for a long time in advance. But I'm hesitant, frankly, Hoda, to talk about that. I don't want other people to think that this is something that needs to be glorified. This is something that needs to be diminished. This is something that we need to talk about as a hateful impact on our nation. Somebody clearly had a mental breakdown, but I don't want to even ascribe it to mental health. I want us to talk about the fact that there are weapons of war on our streets, that people can legally obtain these and then take out dozens of people. Our community is never going to recover from this wound. We're a strong, strong group of people. Many, many generations live here together. It's one of those unique things about my hometown that people come back to raise their children, their grandparents are with them. This is an absolutely devastating blow to all of us. So I'd rather focus on why do we as a nation allow this to happen with such regularity? Why do we say, oh, okay, that was them? I mean, I can't tell you how many mayors I heard from yesterday, mayors that I obviously am aware of because of their own tragedies that have come to their own doorsteps. And it was like, here we are again. I said to somebody yesterday, I never thought I would be one of those mayors. Well, none of us ever think we will be one of those mayors. And so whether it's Buffalo, New York, whether it's Uvalde, Texas, whether it's Highland Park, Illinois, this is unbelievable to me that this is an acceptable part of who we are as a nation.
Well, Mayor Rodering, we're going to leave it with that. Thank you so much for joining us. Know this, that our prayers are with you and your whole community, and I'm sure the nation's prayers are with you, too. We wish you well in Highland Park. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Hoda. Thank you.
Striking commentary from the mayor there about where we are as a country.
Yeah. She was just saying that she can't believe she was on the phone with those other mayors, and now she was part of that group, and that speaks to a lot of what...
Cub Scout leader of the actual
shooter.
Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark. How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? Can you tell us what it was like? With our NBC News exclusive. It was Lester.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to Today. We got a lot to celebrate on this Wednesday morning. It's good to have you along with us.
You don't know when your moment's coming, but when it does, you take it.
Everybody's good, and that's it.
It's a can't miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong.
Elegant and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers.
Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
We're back with today's summer savings with inflation rates reaching highs we haven't seen since the 80s. A lot of folks are taking on debt just to make ends meet.
Yeah, a lot of folks are, but with some planning and some discipline, you can get out of that hole. NBC's senior consumer investigative correspondent Vicky Nguyen has some tips on how you can work toward financial freedom.
Like baseball and apple pie, debt has become a slice of American life. The average American carrying a total debt of more than $96,000.
I have a total debt of around $67,000, and that feels terrifying and like I want to throw up.
Francie Webb, a doula and small business owner in Virginia, says she couldn't always speak so candidly about money, even avoiding the topic with her husband, Leo. She's opening up to remove the stigma. She racked up nearly $120,000 in debt after using credit cards to pay for family bills, including rent and her daughter's preschool.
Why do you think people carry that embarrassment when it comes to finance and debt?
There's a lot of shame that comes with it. For me, it's like I did it wrong. It's like, well, I screwed up, and this is the reminder.
How do you move past that feeling?
Understanding that that's just a story that I make up about myself. Like if I'm there saying I screwed up, and it's really like, no, and I was doing was taking care of my family and like making a choice that worked for right then.
Once Francie and Leo created an open dialogue about their finances, they began tackling their debt together, using a budgeting app and working with a financial advisor to help them prioritize their spending. And it started with sweating the small stuff. When the kids lose the remote control yet again, Francie tells Leo to press pause on buying a replacement.
He's like, can we afford to spend $20 on that? And it's like you feel that shame comes back when you're like, what, I don't have $20 to buy an extra remote? But then you step outside of that shame and you're like, wait a second, is this actually what I want that $20 to do? Or would I rather have that $20 in my vacation fund?
How hard was it to adopt these new habits?
Really freaking hard.
Francie says she and Leo stopped using credit cards, and in just a year and a half, they knocked down nearly half of their debt. Recently, inflation costs prompted them to adjust their repayment strategy.
I've actually called each of my credit card companies and negotiated a lower minimum payment. What that means is when there's extra to put toward debt, rather than paying towards that higher minimum payment, I can then be like, no, my car is at $2,700. Let me throw $250 towards that.
Financial advisor Kristen Merrick doesn't work with Francie, but she says it's usually better to pay down credit card debt than car loans because of the high interest rates.
What's the number one piece of advice you give people when they come to you and say, I want to start chipping away at my debt?
You have to organize your debt. The focus needs to be on the bad debt, which you know already is the credit card debt.
Merrick says try to consolidate your credit card debt to make it easier to pay off. If you can't, she says pay down the balance on the card with the highest interest first. And when tackling debt, approach it like a diet.
Going from being wildly excessive to complete deprivation is really not a great strategy.
To stay on track, Francie says she's created various funds for upcoming and emergency expenses like medical bills, home repairs, and travel, building a future where the only thing she owes is a debt of gratitude for the lessons learned.
I have been in debt for the majority of my adult life, and I'm just not interested in doing that anymore. I'm committed to having freedom with money.
All right, Vicky went for us there. So Vicky just gave us some tips, and we've got some more tips for you as well. These are tips from experts. Tip number one, set $100 weekly allowances for spending money so that you can stay on budget.
Okay.
Avoid buying in bulk. Avoid impulse shopping. And mortgages can still be a good investment since, you know, it's usually an asset that goes up in value. So there are a few more tips there.
Well, your dad had a pretty good tip. What was your dad's tip?
When we were growing up, my father didn't have a credit card, and he used to say, besides a house or a car, if you can't pay for it in cash, you don't need it.
And so did that stick with you?
It stayed with me. I learned the lesson the hard way in college. I
was just about to say,
had a Discover card for about 3 years. Took me 6 or 7 years to pay it off. Yeah. But after that, no.
You no credit card?
We don't.
That's
we
impressive.
Don't believe in
Wow.
credit. Now, you talk to my wife, that's a different conversation.
It's a mixed bag. All right.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate it. Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark. How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? Can you tell us what it was like? With our NBC News exclusive. It was Lester. Who's this?
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark. How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? Can you tell us what it was like? With our NBC News exclusive. It was Lester. Who's this?
Summer travel is back, baby. And after a few years of being cooped up at home, binge watching TV, wouldn't it be fun to travel to the places that you saw on your screen? It's a genius concept,
It is a
right?
great idea.
So here to help us with some TV-inspired destinations, Vice President of Global PR at Virtuoso Travel Agency, Misty Bells. Misty Bells, excuse me, Misty, how are you?
Hi.
Great. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so some shows that film right here in New York City. One of them is the Gossip Girl reboot.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this one.
Okay.
So what do you have for all of us Gossip Girl fans?
Well, Gossip Girl is all about having that enviable lifestyle here in New York City. So you'll see them hanging out in iconic spots like the steps at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. But if you want to come here and have the Gossip Girl experience, stay at the One Hotel Brooklyn Bridge. It's in the Dumbo area of Brooklyn, which is Obie's neighborhood. If you watch the show, your rates are going to start about $549 a night, but it's super chic hotel. And then fashion, as you know, is a big part of Gossip Girl. So you can shop for your designer wardrobe in Midtown at Saks Off Fifth or Nordstrom Rack, of course, and then go down to Soho where you have all those great independent boutiques. It's fun. And while you're in Soho, then head to the Blonde, which is another Gossip Girl hangout. It's going to go from bar to lounge to nightclub.
Where is this?
It's going to go the Blonde. It's in 11 Howard in
wow.
Soho. And it's going to go until like 4 a.m. So you get the full Gossip Girl experience there.
What a great idea, honestly, for travel.
Buddy up, we should.
I know. Let's do that. Okay, so the show Outer Banks, it's set in a beach town, adventure, all of those good things. What's your advice for that?
So the funny thing about Outer Banks is it's not actually filmed in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. It's filmed in South Carolina around Charleston.
God's country.
Yep, exactly. Around Mount Pleasant. And so Shem Creek is exactly where you want to be if you're a Pogue. I don't know about you guys, but I'm totally Team John B. You can stay at the Shem Creek Inn. It's right there on the water. Your rates are going to start at about $229 per night.
Not bad.
Then you can go right across the water to the Wreck of the Richard and Charlene, which is a restaurant, and that stands in for Kiara's family's restaurant in the show. And then if you want to go explore Shem Creek, you can paddleboard, you can kayak, and Coastal Expeditions will actually take you out so you can see exactly where the show is filmed.
I feel like I'm way behind on this one, but I have not yet started Yellowstone. Everyone here raves about it. I knew I was going to get that reaction. So if you want to live like a Dutton?
Yeah.
Okay. You can actually stay at the ranch?
You can, and don't feel bad because I was late to this as well. But yes, you can actually stay at the Chief Joseph Ranch, which is where it's filmed. It's right outside of Darby, Montana. That's about 6 hours actually from the Yellowstone National Park entrance. However, you stay there when they're not filming, and the rest of 22 is off limits, and they're not booking until 2023. But worry not, because you can go by and see it, and then stay at the Bitterroot River Ranch, Ranch, which is close by. It's a beautiful B&B, and you're going to get all the Yellowstone feels there. You're going to live like a Dutton. Great fishing nearby in the Bitterroot River. And then if you want, you can go into downtown Darby and have a custom cowboy hat made. So you can look the part too.
Very cool. Authentic. Let's go abroad here. Emily in Paris. For folks who are a fan of that show, what do you have?
I was a huge fan of Emily in Paris because when you couldn't travel to Paris, it was the next best thing. And if you want that experience, we recommend staying at the Grand Hotel de Palais Royal. And
that sounds expensive.
It's a little bit more expensive, $470 a night to start, but you're going to overlook the Savoir Agency, which is where Emily works, so you'll get that whole field there. And then
what are we looking at?
This isn't from the show. I think she's very happy about being in the hotel.
That's what I'm gonna do.
They let you do that in the hotel?
Yes, because you're free and
if you pay a little extra, you can dance on top of it.
Okay. Before we run out of time,
yes,
a lot of people are into Bridgerton.
Oh, yes,
I'm no exception. Exactly. So if we want a Bridgerton experience, where do we go?
So Bridgerton experience, they filmed all over England. Go to Hampton Court Palace because that is what stood in for Queen Charlotte's Palace in season 2. You can stay at Craven House Apartments. You're going to overlook the grounds there.
Wow.
And it's going to run you about $215 a night. But from there, you can go to Bath, and you're going to see all the Regency era architecture. You can go promenade for suitors at Painshill Park, which is in Surrey.
Beautiful.
And one other advantage to staying at Hampton Court Palace is that you're about 15 minutes from Richmond, which is home of AFC Greyhounds and one coach, Ted Lasso. So kind of a two-for-one.
Yes.
Ted Lasso.
You had me at Ted Lasso.
And admittedly, that's what I just did a few weeks ago.
Oh,
really? What a great idea.
Misty, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Well, by the way, we should mention that Misty is a paid employee of Virtuoso Travel Agency, which does have relationships with the Grand Hotel, Palais du Royal, and the One Hotel, Brooklyn Bridge that we just mentioned.
Your fun group trip.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told. No. Do you remember any tornado as bad as this one? You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months. Exactly. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. I appreciate it.
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
It is the fourth may be over, but we're not done celebrating America yet.
We are not. You can show your patriotic spirit all year long with these items that are made right here in the USA. Actually.
And here to show us some of her favorites is Today All Day contributor Mako and Lovu. Mako, so good to see you.
Good to see you too, Hoda.
We like a vintage-ish hat. Talk to us about these.
Feeld has been around since the 80s, still going strong. Yeah. They give us this historically inspired sportswear. Twitch feel it, right?
Yeah.
Feels like great quality. And this is hand sewn, my friend. So if you have that sports enthusiast, this is the one to get. Okay, I see you gravitating towards it.
I think I like that.
You think you like? I thought for sure you were gonna go with LA.
For the LA, you know, absolutely. Let me see the LA.
There you go.
Yeah,
this makes such a great gift for your husband, father, your nephew. These are absolutely great quality too. Right?
I was gonna say good, excellent. All right, so this Twitch, you could use this. This is the beard department.
Well, there we go. So this is how you keep your beard looking shiny and hydrated at all times. I like that this is a comprehensive comprehensive kit, right? everything that you need.
what do
you get the wash, the conditioner, the serum, the balm.
Yeah,
do you like that?
Yeah, 100%.
Wait,
And also,
you wash with serum, you do balms and serums and all
yeah,
that?
absolutely. Yo, the beard care. Listen, the beard care, it takes a lot of care, and also to have the comb, the brush down.
Your own comb, right? So you're not getting your comb from your wife.
100%,
Exactly.
Do you snip it yourself, or does somebody snip
I don't. I trust the barber to do
it. Someone down here.
Well, the brand says that this will actually grow your beard as well, but that's how you keep it hydrated. So Twitch, you definitely have to grab that one. Let's move on down to Mommy and Me. Listen, I love a matching Mommy and Me moment, and this is the perfect way to do it. They grow up so quickly. This comes to us from a great brand, Worthy Threads. But look at the tie-dye material, right? Isn't it great? Now, this is great for the summertime because it's lightweight, but think about wearing it in the winter. In fact, you had a jacket on earlier, so you can wear it with your jacket when it gets a little bit cooler. But this is how you create those special memories. Frankie is like, it looks so
Frankie,
cute.
what do you think? Good? She loves
it. She's excited.
Really?
Absolutely cute.
Thank you,
Yeah, there you go.
All right. We like a pop of color.
We do. So this comes to us from Tiny Tassels. They're actually based out in South Carolina.
Yeah.
And I really love their earrings, right? A fun pop of color. These are separate. The earrings are great, of course, for the summertime, but you can rock these all year round.
Okay.
But the headbands,
you got it.
They're actually made, the founder's name is Mimi Straplin, but her mom, Keiko, actually hand makes these headbands.
what?
I know. Isn't that fantastic?
What's the price
really
point?
nice. Well, they range anywhere from $39 up. Again, they're not a set, so you can grab them separately, but it really is that fantastic quality. Really pulls an outfit together, right?
I think you can go shopping for your wife here. Alice, this was like Allison over here.
Exactly.
All right.
All right, so these are absolutely great. This is a great way that they look in any apartment, an RV, or dorm room. It's not just the postcards here. These are handwritten by an artist named Dan Duffy. Will you turn around behind you? Look at this gorgeous artwork. Again, it's all about evoking certain memories. Maybe you have a favorite city. Twitch, I see you going down there to Park.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's incredible.
And there's the city of New Orleans.
There's the city of New Orleans, and you can put these in your bedroom, your living room, your office. They also make a great gift because they're just evergreen, right? Everybody can love these.
By the way, brilliant. And you're mesmerized looking at them. Beautiful.
Right?
All right,
Speaking of mesmerized, is there anything more refreshing in the summertime than a low-calorie mixer? These come to us from actress Blake Lively. Delicious, right?
Oh, yeah.
Blake Lively says on her website that she actually doesn't drink and that mixers are the unsung heroes of the drink world. They come in 5 delicious flavors. So you got the grapefruit, nice,
refreshing.
Right? Eat it, drink them as is, or you can put a little something if you want to.
I was going to say, what do you say?
Later in the afternoon, you know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of afternoon, this would be a great treat to have in the afternoon. These come to us from Park City, Utah. Now, some people say that if America had a national pie, it'll be apple pie. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Right, so these are freshly baked. Reviewers love how soft and flaky they are. Right, the pie, isn't the sweetness, the fruit in there, isn't it outstanding? Right, these are absolutely great. With the kids being out of school, a great treat. Or if a neighbor comes over, just whip out the apple pie.
And again, all made in the USA.
All made in the USA.
McCo, thank you. Well, we hope we see. That was fun. Don't you love that show?
That was a lot.
Cute little show.
Squeeze it all in.
We hope you come back tomorrow.
Jill Martin's going to be here with steals and deals that are perfect for summer. Have a great Tuesday, y'all.
Yo, today all day, up next on #cooking, Sama Dada has the cure to your midday munchies. She's going to whip up 4 easy snacks so you'll always be prepared when hunger strikes. First up, Sama making one of Hoda's favorite sweet treats, dates stuffed with almond butter that can be served hot or cold. Then she bakes up a simple, super maple almond granola. And finally, she's making popcorn that's spiced with garam masala. Say bye-bye to butter with a spicy snack.
I'll just say this, okay? If you have a first date with one of these dates, you will be having more. I can't with myself. I cannot go a single day without snacking. Whether I'm at home or on the go, it is simply #always snack time. Honestly, a world without snacking is simply not one I want to live in. So I cannot wait to show you 3 of my favorite weekly snack staples, my delicious stuffed dates, warm and frozen, my nutty maple granola, and my delicious masala popcorn. I love dates, and no, I'm not talking about the romantic kind, I'm talking about the medjool kind. They are my favorite sweet snack to eat throughout the day, and I'm going to show you how to make them 2 ways, warmed and stuffed and frozen and dipped in chocolate. Most dates come with pits, so I've actually already pitted these. I've got about 10 here, so I'm just going to now take them on a little journey to the microwave for about 10 to 15 seconds just to get them really nice and warm and juicy. Who needs a first date or a second date when you have 10 dates ready to be stuffed with almond butter? Warming the dates brings out their already naturally golden and caramel flavor, and then when you stuff them with almond butter, the heat actually allows the almond butter to melt so it gets really nice and gooey and delicious. I really already want to eat one right now. Okay, we're gonna start stuffing them. So I've got a creamy almond butter here. You can also use a crunchy almond butter. You can use a peanut butter, a cashew butter. If there are any nut butters that you're harboring in your pantry, this would be a great time to use them. I'm pretty generous here. I would say I use about a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons just because I like a lot of almond butter, but you can totally choose however amount works best for your life. Because we pitted the dates, it actually serves as a really nice pocket for the almond butter to just sit in, a little home, you know? It's like this date was meant for almond butter. You know what I mean? Right? Good form, I think. And I'm just gonna continue with the rest of my dates. So actually, Hoda saw this recipe on my Instagram and has now deemed it to be her favorite snack.
You take a date, and remember I told you the whole thing?
Yes.
You nuke it, you put in some dark chocolate and some almond butter.
yeah.
You know what I like? I like the melted chocolate in the peanut buttery nut butter thing with the salt.
So Hoda, if you're watching this, it's for you. You can kind of see how when I put the almond butter inside this little pocket, it starts to melt a little bit and looks so gooey. Oh. It's like a little river of almond butter that I want to swim in. It's a lucky date. I crack only myself up. So for this recipe and a lot of the other recipes I make using dates, you want to make sure you're buying the medjool kind. I'll just say this, okay? You have a first date with one of these dates. You will be having more. I can't with myself. Someone's got to hold me back for making another date joke because it will happen again. Okay, wait, this guy needs a little more almond butter. I'm so sorry I neglected you for a second. Okay. Okay, I am drowning in almond butter. All of my dates have been stuffed with the almond butter. They look really nice. They look ready to go out on a date. I need to stop. I'm done, I promise. Now that I'm done stuffing all of the dates, I'm just gonna top it with a little bit of sea salt, just to bring out that sweetness and balance everything out really nicely. I sometimes also like to use a salted almond butter too, and that's gonna really create that naturally salty, sweet combination, which we love. All right, and there you have it. My favorite warm stuffed dates, my coffee companion, my favorite date.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Hey, who's this?
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Women's basketball has been systematically held back. After 49 years of Title IX, we still have work to do.
In Their Court, a podcast from NBC News and NBC Sports that goes inside the issues of inequality in women's sports. Listen now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
In my opinion, you can never have enough dates, so I'm going to show you how to make another recipe using dates. They're frozen, stuffed with almond butter, and then dipped in chocolate. So we've got our dates already pitted, and now we're going to just go ahead and stuff them straight with almond butter. This should feel pretty familiar. Again, we're going to have the almond butter find a nice little home in this pocket that we've created by pitting the dates. And remember, we are going to be submerging these in chocolate, so we want to make sure that we don't overfill it with almond butter so that it gets a bit messy, even though we love a bit of messy chocolate. So sometimes when I look at my freezer and I'm like, where did all of the ice cream go? I make these instead. They're also super quick to pull together and use mostly what you have in the pantry. And if you're not keeping dates in your pantry now, take this as your sign to start. If you have a nut allergy, you can even use a tahini or a sunflower seed butter as well. And then when you're done freezing them, they seriously taste like a candy bar. I know you think I'm crazy, but they do, I promise. I eat them for dessert. I eat them as a snack during the day. There's so many things you can do with them. They really are the perfect date. Dates are the perfect date. They are. I'm sorry. And now for my chocolate. All I'm gonna do is melt it in the microwave with a little bit of coconut oil. This is gonna help it get nice and smooth and glossy. We're gonna do this in 10 to 15 second increments, and we're gonna keep stirring throughout so it gets really nice and smooth. Put that straight in there. Got my spoon at the ready for stirring, and now I'm gonna head to the microwave. Go back in the microwave. Now it is time to take our dates for a little swim in chocolate. I think they're excited about this, I'm not sure. Here's what we're gonna do. Grab a date, just drop it straight into the chocolate. Don't worry, it likes this. Roll it around so that the entire date is coated. Make sure you get that residual chocolate to kind of drip off the sides of the spoon like this. And now we're just gonna place it back onto our parchment paper. And now we're going to chocolate swim and repeat. This is like a very luxurious bath, I have to say, for the dates. Because we've stuffed these dates with almond butter, we wanna make sure we're rolling it in the chocolate a little bit gently, just so that the almond butter doesn't come out. It's okay if you get a little messy here. It's part of the game. It's part of the date. No, that wasn't good. Serve this to your next date. That was better, that was good, that was good. Will I ever stop making date jokes after this? No. Don't expect me to stop. No, it's not gonna happen. It's part of my brand now. One final date. Now, just for good measure, I'm gonna add a little drizzle of chocolate on top. It's gonna make it look really pretty. I don't believe in less is more when it comes to chocolate. I think we always need more chocolate. If you don't like chocolate, I wanna understand you. Please drop me a line. But also, if you don't like chocolate, that's fine. Like, it's totally okay. But I still wanna understand you. Okay. Now I'm just gonna top them with a little flaky sea salt. This is really gonna bring out that sweetness, balance out the chocolate. It is the perfect combination. I'm using a flaky sea salt as well, so it looks really pretty and a little fancy. Okay, we're salted, and now we're ready for the freezer. Can we take a moment? Look at how cute they look. These dates are ready for their date. Gotta stop making date jokes. Okay. These are honestly so good because of the chocolate, because of the almond butter, and that little flaky sea salt. They seriously taste like a candy bar. America's favorite candy bar. You know what I'm talking about. Plating my hot dates with my frozen dates. We're going on a lot of dates today. They honestly look so good. I love them. You know what? I need to take a picture of these to send to Hoda. I know this is her favorite snack. She's gonna love the chocolate ones too. These dates are fully ready for their close-up. It's almost unfair. All right, got the shot. I think it's time for me to taste. Look at that. It is so good. The dates are so sweet. The almond butter works so well. That salt, it's making everything come to life. I knew there's a reason why I eat these every day. Now that my dates are done, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Let's keep this between us. Granola is super easy to make at home. I'm gonna get the ingredients so I can show you how.
Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top story with Tom Yamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Uvalde, Texas, a small town that has become yet another landmark. How long do you think it took for all this damage to occur? Can you tell us what it was like? With our NBC News exclusive. My name is Lester. What is this?
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong, elegant, and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers. Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Granola is one of my favorite things to make at home. It's super versatile, so you can eat it solo, just munch on it as you're going about your day, or serve it with your favorite yogurt or milk. I'm gonna show you how to make my favorite nutty maple granola. For any granola recipe, I like to separate my wet and dry ingredients. We wanna make sure that all of the ingredients are thoroughly incorporated, so that's why I'm gonna do this. I've got some melted and cooled coconut oil here, and I'm just gonna add the rest of my ingredients. I'm using some of my almond butter. And this is gonna serve as a really nice mixture for the oats and nuts and seeds and whatever else we're adding to this granola to really cling onto, so we can get those really crunchy clusters. And clusters are why we're all eating granola in the first place anyway, right? Almond butter is in. To sweeten it up, we're gonna add some maple syrup. This is the maple portion of my nutty maple granola. Maple adds this really nice golden richness to the granola. It's so good. It's really lightly sweet, so it's not too sweet. I've got all my wet ingredients in my bowl, and now I'm just gonna whisk it until it's nice and smooth. Be careful here. Wear an apron. I don't do it, but you should. We're whisking, and we're whisking. And I just want to whisk this until it's nice and smooth, making sure that all of the ingredients are thoroughly incorporated. Okay, wet ingredients, we're going to set them aside. They're going to hang out for later. And now I'm going to get to work on my dry ingredients. Because I like to maximize the presence of clusters in my granola, it's very important to me, I'm going to crush my nuts before I add them into my oats. So in order to do this, all you have to do, add your nuts into any sort of bag, take a rolling pin or even a bottle, and just get your stress out, like this. You can also roll them if you're more delicate, but I'm really going for it today. I promise I'm a very patient person in general. We want them to be coarsely crushed, but it's okay if we have some bigger or smaller pieces because it's nice to have some texture with our granola. We like the crunch. Okay, I've got my bowl of oats right here. And now I'm just gonna add all of my dry mix-ins in. Adding my pecans in here. My stressed pecans, the result of my stressed pecans. I should also say that if you've got any nuts or seeds that have just been hanging out in your pantry for a little too long, this is a great opportunity to use them up. I'm adding some almonds in now. Just gonna use some cinnamon here. You can also use some nutmeg if you'd like, really whatever you'd like. And then we're gonna add a little pinch of salt. And now I'm just gonna fold in all my dry ingredients together. Make sure everyone gets to know each other. It's very friendly granola. Now that I've mixed all of my dry ingredients together, I'm just gonna add in my wet ingredients and mix everything together. Okay. Here we go. It's very aesthetically pleasing. This wet mixture is really what's gonna help this granola have clusters, so I like to make sure when I am mixing both the wet and dry ingredients together that everything is really nicely coated. Okay, listen closely. The really important thing when you're making granola is to make sure that everyone has some personal space. So we wanna make sure that all of the oats and nuts in this entire mixture is spread out in a very even layer so everyone has room to breathe. By spreading everything out, we're also gonna make sure it bakes in a very even and crisp layer. And we're just patting everything down really gently, spreading it out nicely. We don't wanna pat anything too hard to crush any of the nuts. Now that everything is spread out, I'm just gonna go bake in the oven at 325 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes. While our granola is baking, we want to make sure that we're stirring it every 10 to 15 minutes so we can ensure an even and crisp bake. Spread it out evenly again, and then back in the oven we go. The secret to super crispy, crunchy, clustery granola is actually letting it cool completely before you break it apart and serve it. I know it's tempting, but just don't touch it for a little bit, okay? This granola is completely cool, so now I'm just gonna break it apart and add it to my plate. I mean, you just can't. You can't say no to this. This is crazy. Look at how crunchy. The clusters are what I live for. It's the only reason I eat granola. Like, this is the most satisfying thing to me, ever. I will break it apart though, just a little bit. We want to maintain those clusters though. I'll take granola over a granola bar any day. That's just me. And did you see how easy it was to throw this together? You literally just combine both your wet and dry ingredients and you've got this super delicious, one pan, amazing granola. And look at this bake. It's so even, so golden and crispy. Okay, it's time for me to taste. I'm waiting to dig into this cluster this entire time. Lightly sweet from the maple syrup, not too sweet, so it's a perfect breakfast companion. Or honestly, you could eat this at any time of the day. You could even top ice cream with this. It's a really nice, crisp, golden layer on top of some vanilla ice cream. Sign me up. You know what? My dad loves this recipe. I make it for him all the time. I'm gonna send him a picture so he can be a little bit jealous of me in it, so he can remember my face. He knows what I look like. He's gonna be so jealous. So good. Speaking of my dad, this next recipe is inspired by him and something he used to make all the time. So I'm gonna go grab the ingredients and start popping some popcorn.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today.
They are walking strong,
Elegant and pretty easy to prepare.
How to cut costs on your vacation? Vicky has the answers. Every single thing you need for the best summer yet.
Only on Today.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
This is a variation of a popcorn recipe that my dad used to make all the time. Poor guy. My mom, my sister, and I would always steal some before he could even have a single kernel, so I guess this is redemption for him. I'm going to show you how to make your popcorn really delicious, really flavorful with this spice-infused olive oil mixture. So I've already popped my popcorn, and now I'm just heating my pan on medium-low heat, and I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. You can use your favorite spices here, but I'm going to use one of my favorites, which is some Garam masala. This is a really common blend of Indian spices, and it's really delicious, really warming, creates a very savory flavor in this popcorn. I'm going to add this straight to my oil, along with some cayenne pepper. This is going to take it up a notch in the spice department because I like things very spicy. Finally, I'm going to add a little pinch of salt. And now all we're going to do is just stir our spices. Now the reason that we're heating the spices here in the oil is because nobody likes a raw spice. Raw spices are not cute to eat, so we want to cook the spices with the oil so they become fragrant, they become aromatic, and it just infuses a lot of flavor into your popcorn. I was so obsessed with popcorn in college, I'm pretty sure it's the only reason I made it through. I would just snack on it like all the time. Got me through my exams. Thank you, popcorn. It's done so much for me in my life. And you want to make sure you continue to stir your spices in with the oil so it doesn't burn. We're only doing this for about a minute or so until you smell that delicious aromatic spice smell. You don't want it to smell too raw. When you allow the garam masala to cook in this oil, you can really smell all of those individual spices, the cumin, the cloves, the coriander. It smells so fragrant. So my spices and my oil smells really aromatic. I've cooked it for about a minute. Now it's time to just drizzle it over my popcorn. There we go. I'm just gonna shake it up so everything is fully incorporated in here. Now I'm gonna drizzle it over my popcorn. It smells so good. Now I'm just gonna toss it so that everything is well incorporated. This is just a really great way to make a flavor-infused popcorn so that you're not just going with the plain salt, you're not just going with the plain butter, there's a little something extra going on. Now that my spices are fully incorporated in my popcorn, I'm gonna add a little bit of nutritional yeast. This adds a very cheesy and savory flavor to the popcorn without actually adding any cheese. Mix that in a little bit. And then I'm gonna finish with a little pinch of salt. I have to show my dad that I made this. It's a little bit better than his. Don't tell him. I'm so mean. It smells so good. I seriously wish you could smell it. I cannot wait to dig in. So I'm just not gonna wait. I'm going to dig in. Oh, come on. Okay, this might be dramatic, but I don't think I can eat regular popcorn ever again. It's so good. And again, you can use your favorite spices here. You can even do a little salt and pepper, a little garlic powder. Really make it your own, but just know that I have a feeling you will not go back to regular salted popcorn. Butter? Who is she? It's so good. It's really good. You guys should try this. The next time you get a snack attack, all I have to say is just don't panic. Remain calm. Make these 3 recipes. They're so delicious and the best way to keep your days going. Whew. Hey guys, super busy, cooking up a storm, but I have something exciting to tell you. #cooking is back. So tune into Today All Day. Okay, I got some in the oven. I gotta go. See you later.